Pretty good Christmas song selection. Could have pulled out Mistress for Christmas by AC/DC, but maybe some copyright issues there. That is a real song, everybody. I don't just keep making that up. That's a song off the Razor's Edge. Hey, it's Monday, December 23rd. My goodness.
Wow.
We are full into the Christmas season. I imagine this day means different things to different people. For some people, a last dash to finish some Christmas shopping or maybe get some food for the big Christmas dinner that you or others may make. Some people off work today. Others still saying, Reid, quit talking about people being off work. I work all week, including Christmas Day. I did talk to somebody who said, yeah, we just keep going. You just
Really?
get somebody with the city. You just get like 2.5 time on Christmas Day or something like that. I think.
I guess firefighters, police. Yeah. There's jobs like that.
Yeah, so you just got to keep going. I worked Christmas Day once at Blockbuster. And I think I pulled like a 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. because it was like nobody else.
Was it busy?
Yes, but not the craziest shift I ever worked there. I never worked New Year's Eve in the evening.
Okay.
I worked 10 to 5 New Year's Eve during the day. It was nuts. This was the day all the good movies are rented out by 10:30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just myself and the store manager till I think somebody else came in at 2 or 3, and we were just like, oh, because you didn't even really have time to go out on the floor and help people because both tills had to be going.
Yeah.
And this was at the Strathcona store, which usually wasn't that busy, but New Year's Eve, people want to grab the movie to watch or have on in the background. And the one thing I remember about this day, so this would have been probably 96. Like I worked at Blockbuster from 95 to 98. Everybody wanted Raiders of the Lost Ark or similar classics, but I just remember for some reason I must have got asked for Raiders of the Lost Ark 15 to 20 times.
Really?
On a 7-hour shift. And it was like, no, it was rented out at 10 after 10. Well, can you get me another copy? No, the store has one copy because at that point, it's a 15-year-old movie. It rarely gets rented out.
How many times were you asked to check the return bin?
Oh, yeah. And then like, well, or can you call another store?
And
we had done that, right? We had done that earlier in the day. Well, because so for context, for people who don't remember, the Strathcona Blockbuster was 79th Ave and Calgary Trail.
Okay.
So I think now there might be a fitness place there. I think there's maybe a Chinese restaurant, and there's that Strathcona Mall. So it was perpendicular to the mall, and then the Strathcona Blockbuster was 51st and just and kind of in a little bit, like across from the Toyota dealership.
Yeah.
So just a block off. So that was kind of the closest store where people would say, "Well, I'll go to Southgate and grab it." But it's like, no, I know it's rented out. Well, aren't you going to call? No, because I called and theirs was rented out at 10:01.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I don't think. Yeah, I can't remember everything. I think I worked Christmas Day twice. Once at Strathcona and once at Oliver, which is now a mattress store. And then I worked New Year's Eve during the day at Strathcona, and that was just like.
Just busy.
When the third person came in, so like my manager and I could actually go to the washroom. And that's the thing. Both tills were humming. And so then somebody comes up to the side and be like, hey, can you check for this? And it's like, or can you show me where this is? And you can't even get like it was just like, oh, and I didn't expect it. So I don't know what it was like. I don't think it was open till midnight. I think it was open till 10. So I don't know what it would have been like for the evening shift. If people were still coming in at 9 p.m. looking for a movie, it probably were. Maybe you go out for a drink, get a dinner, and then Strathcona, the younger people, foot traffic, and maybe they're thinking, let's stop in at the Blockbuster, grab Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Now, maybe by that point it was returned already by the people who probably not. Probably not.
I don't know. I miss the old video stores. I liked going, and especially on a Tuesday when all the new releases come on, you'd have like 3 walls of the new release or whatever it was, and they'd all be gone.
Yeah.
And you go and ask, and then you go get something that you've probably watched 5 times before, and you get your popcorn and your goodies. I liked it. I enjoyed going to the movie store. I guess well, everyone's got the streaming service. There's no scenario where those come back, I don't think, unless you can actually go and get movies that are maybe a month out, but are still in the theaters. But then you'd probably have to pay like $50 and get a code or something like that.
Someday I'll take you to the lobby if you haven't been. It's 108th and White.
Okay.
And I know the owner. He's not like a close friend, but he's like a buddy sort of thing. And his name's Kevin Martin, but not the curler. But it's sort of a more alternative / horror type place. So if you want some, Spanish B movie that was like a hit 3 years ago, but it's a horror, like he'd probably have it.
Really?
And he still rents out movies, but it is a lost experience. I find I try not to do it too often, but I find when I do on air go into those stories, like if I do it 4 to 6 times a year, people like it because it is nostalgia. And then for younger people who never did it, it's something that they can like it's not so distant where it's like, oh, well, we used to have a horse and buggy or something. Like it's still like, okay, I can imagine that, or I've seen a VHS tape or whatever, but it is sort of lost. And now you know what it's like with all these channels. I can't, there's nothing to watch.
I know. We essentially browse a massive video store in our house and go, nothing.
Well, and so for this Christmas, like, as you know, you've heard me talk about my dad, especially. Like we like these violent horror movies that are cheesy and gory. But for Christmas this season, I wrote down like 3 or 4 movies. Okay, we want to watch these, so we're not sitting down, after dinner tomorrow.
Yeah. And
okay, what do we want? I was like, okay, let's remember and now I don't even know what streaming service are. And you notice. So let's say I can't remember what has what, but let's say Netflix doesn't have Mission Impossible. It'll let you type in Mission Impossible, or it'll put it in Mission Impossible as to complete it, and then you're like, oh, great, it has Mission Impossible, and then you're like,
well,
so
it'll give you a list of similar. The one thing, I don't know if you have Apple Plus or whatever.
I've never got that.
Okay, so Apple Plus is good because depending on your streaming services, it will link to them. And so you can actually type in what you want, and it'll pop up and take you straight there.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I have Netflix, I have Disney, and I have Prime, right, and Apple Plus. So if I type it in on Apple Plus, it'll come up, and I'll click on it, and it'll take me to either Disney or Prime or Netflix.
So I guess I do have that in terms of I have the remote you can talk to.
Yeah.
So if I said Return of the Jedi, it would take me to Disney Plus. But if I went into Netflix, it wouldn't stop me from typing in Return of the Jedi.
No.
It would just bring up, we have...
you might be interested in this.
We have Return of the Shovel, low budget.
That awful Star Wars spinoff.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks for joining us. We will talk sports, of course. We'll talk a lot about the Edmonton Oilers and a bit of other stuff, but it is the final show before Christmas. So Jay Milne is off, by the way. So Joaquin's going to sit with me till 4 o'clock, and we'll have some fun, which is cool. The Kub is here, Zachary Kubusch. You're out there, and you can get in touch. The ESTN box, 780-218-9999. You can also email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. I hope I still get a limerick or two today. And, of course, if you are on YouTube, you can participate with us, but more importantly with each other, because the Nasty Chat is usually a lot of you just talking to each other about whatever. And give us a thumbs up as well. We're still going to try to get to 100 today, even though it is that time of year when people's patterns are a little different. I did say, I think I've told you this, Gager. I don't know if I've ever said it on air. I did notice doing overtime open line at Ched, there was generally fewer calls starting around mid-December.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and remember that, well, I don't know if you remember this. A few years ago, they had a 5-game homestand before Christmas, and they lost all 5 games. So almost the exact opposite of this one, in which they went 4-1. And you think, okay, like probably a lot of listener calls today. People wondering what's going on, want to vent or ask Rob a question. And it was really quiet on the phones. And then I kind of started thinking back to other years, and then every year I'd sort of think usually around Christmas it was quieter, and it's not like people stop caring about the Oilers overall, but I think there's a little more, okay, I watched the game, I gotta clean this room. It might be 10 p.m., but grandma's coming. Like, this room's a mess. I got to do it now.
Yeah.
Or you're at a party or whatever. So, people's habits do change a little bit. We are, of course, in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Visit them at jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. The Big Uke, the first movie Reid rented out were probably etched in stone slabs. Yes, and then you just had to move them really quickly.
God, I'm trying to think. You know what? I remember Betamax. Jeez. You might have watched this. The Sword and the Sorcerer. Do you remember that?
Oh, I probably saw it when I was little.
Yeah. I'm sure you did.
It's a Disney one, right?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah.
What's the one where Mickey's the wizard?
Oh, Fantasia?
Oh, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
No, this was The Sword and the Sorcerer was, I can't remember the movie, but I remember because it was out, and then my dad would always get probably movies that weren't appropriate. Not the bad ones, but,
right.
Like I was too young. You know that first movie you watch with your parents and there's, scenes where
a little bit of
romance, I guess.
Yeah.
You're just like, my eyes were probably like saucers, but I'm just like, God, I can't believe my parents are letting me watch this right now.
Yeah.
That was a big one. Conan, I remember distinct Conan because I just remember the look on the Betamax cases, right? So you'd see that. Trading Places was huge. Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, yeah, Trading Place. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yeah. Great scene. Yeah, that's that had to fix the tracking on the VHS because it got a little worn out from that scene, I think.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think we want to watch Despicable Me 4.
Oh.
And I think my dad and I are going to watch The Substance, that Demi Moore horror movie. She's an aging actress who starts taking some sort of substance to make herself look younger, and bad things happen. That's all I want to know about it.
Okay.
So usually, like, it's just me and my mom and dad on Christmas Eve. If the larger family gathering is usually on the 25th. Mm-hmm. So a few years ago, so we try to pick not like a kids movie, but something we can all like. Because my mom is not into so either a fun action movie or so we've watched The Despicable Me. So there's a new one that'll be fun. So a few years ago, we watched Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford.
Okay,
it was terrible.
Oh no,
like it wasn't fun. Like the dog,
it's a lot of CGI, isn't it?
Yeah, and the dog like gets kidnapped, and like his buddy, I think another dog dies near the beginning, and something burns down, and like it's almost dark. Like it's like this is not even, and it wasn't interesting. Like the story wasn't overly coherent, and Harrison Ford's in it. Like the dog went and lived with the wolves after. Yeah. But I'm just like, you just wait for it. Afterwards, I was like, was I the only one who didn't think that was fun at all? And my parents were like, no, that was like terrible. It was horrible.
If you want to cleanse your dog palate, Reid, I watched a movie. It's called Strays, and Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah, we watched that.
Okay. With my wife. And, like, so when I laugh too hard, sometimes my wife looks at me like, really? You're a child. Why are you laughing at that? But even she was dying laughing at some of the stuff in that movie because we're dog people. Yeah. And they make fun of certain things that dogs always do too. That's what I found most amusing. And plus some of the whole the whole story was just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, his mission was very noble. To get back at his owner and remove a certain body part. Yes.
When he comes to that realization. Yeah. It's just hilarious. The bunny scene is pretty when they're in the meadow and start eating the mushrooms.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yes. Yeah. They did a good job with Strays.
That was
good. It was appropriately toned. So, all right. Well, I got something fun for you, Gager, but we'll save it till after the break because it's more just we're going to get into something. It's related to something that happened today in the world of sports, but then I'm going to sort of not quiz Gager, but I just want to be okay. What do you think, or who do you remember? Like people know I like kind of trivia like that, and I don't do it to embarrass people. It's more like if Gager remembers, great, then great, but if not, then we're like, oh yeah, well, what about this guy? So it's going to be kind of that sort of conversation.
Well, you're a board game guy. What's your favorite trivia game?
Oh, trivia game? That's a good question. I don't play a lot of trivia games anymore. Like Trivial Pursuit's still classic to me, but I haven't played it in age. I had a buddy in Lloyd. He had probably a dozen or more versions. So that was fun. Probably like 3 times a year we would just get like, he'd be like, hey, we're going to do the sports one or the 80s one or whatever. I would say it's not trivia. It's more of a mystery game, and I don't even know you can get them anymore. They're in really small boxes. It's called Dark Stories.
Okay.
So you can play with 2 people or with 18. One person reads you something on a card, and everybody else has to figure out what happened. And they can only ask yes or no questions. So there's one person who's the master, and he'll read this, and this. And they're usually dark, like there's a death or a murder or a crime involved. But it's I've played it with different people, and there's a card. If I'm introducing somebody to the game, there's always a card that I start with. And it's really interesting to see how different people where they start or what assumptions they make.
Oh, that's good.
And the beauty of that game is, and I always tell people this: there's no stupid question. It has to be yes or no. But the master can also decide if he or she ever wants to intervene. Like if it's something like if it's about a kid. And you're like trying to figure out the age of the kid. Like eventually the master could say, you know what, Gager, why don't you move off that? Just kind of to let them know, like, hey, we're going to be like you're barking up the wrong tree. Yeah. So it's called Dark Stories if anybody could ever find it. You want to do the off-topic topic?
Yeah, sure.
For William Huff, since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading graphics with design, print, and install all in-house for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. It's a simple one today, and it's also going to be the topic of my top 3 later on. Best Christmas gift you ever received. It can be from last Christmas. It can be from when you were 4, but give us a story about it. Best Christmas gift you ever received. So I'm going to give my top 3 later when I do my top 3 for food sausage. I found it somewhat difficult because there were probably a lot of gifts I liked when I was 9 that I now no longer remember getting. So actually 2 of mine are from the last 6 or 7 years.
Oh, really?
Because they're meaningful. Yeah.
Wow.
One's fun and one's more emotional.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there something that comes to your mind?
Well, right away, I always assume you're talking about being a kid. And what was your best gifts at that point? It always pops into my head, the one time. And I don't know, maybe it was the one time my parents actually had some money or something, but I got an Amiga computer.
Oh, neat.
And skis and boots, like actual full set of ski equipment. No helmet. We didn't have helmets back then. But my parents bought me a brand new set of like Lang boots and K2 skis because I loved skiing. I thought I was going to play hockey or be a ski patrol. That was my 2 avenues of what I thought I was going to do in my life. And it was the best because I had all those old crappy video games. Well, the Leisure Suit Larry's, right. There was a few other ones like the adventure games. One was called, I'll figure out the name later, but I played these things and they took forever to get through, and you had to say hide behind the couch or something. You had to type it in, and then your guy went and did this.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Those old ones. That was an unbelievable Christmas because those were the 2 things that I wanted more than anything was a computer to do stuff on and a skis to go skiing. And
I should just clarify to people because I had to double check it. Is this the AMIGA Amiga?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's a step up from the Commodore 64.
Right, Commodore made it because I was thinking like, wait a minute, which because I just want to clarify because when people might have heard you say that because that's initially what popped into my mind, and then I was like, no, I was thinking like Omega.
No,
because I think there was an Omega at one point too.
Probably, I don't know.
So the Amiga, AMIGA. If people want to look this up, please do.
Yeah,
I'm sure you. All of a sudden, all their
I've referenced certain players having the way that they read the play is more like an Amiga, where Connor's more quantum computing, right. Or quantum computing. Sorry.
I wonder too if sort of tied back to our Blockbuster topic because when I was a kid, well, you asked for an Atari game or a television game or then a PlayStation game, but now. the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure there's parents out there, or I'm sure there's people who play video games out there. The way I understand it is you're just downloading games now. You're not getting a disc. So if
you're still getting a disc, but you don't have to, right?
Right, you can just...
You don't have to go to the store anymore. You just go to the online store. And I've been watching these things of, because I remember playing Grand Theft Auto, the first one. Yeah. And it was just, I couldn't believe there was an actual video game that included this type of stuff. And now it's almost real. But Grand Theft Auto 6, there's this hilarious guy that I follow on TikTok, and he says, this thing, when it comes out, the amount of work that is not going to be done over the next 3 weeks in businesses is incredible. Like, they might as well just shut everything down because no one is going to do anything but play this game.
That's incredible. So I'd like to know that too. If I assume your kid wants a gift, or a spouse, I suppose, wants a gift, wants a video game for a gift, are you getting them the disc, or are you just going to download it for them Christmas morning?
Yeah, I mean,
Is your phone on the screen, by the way?
I mirrored it so we could have the.
Oh, you were putting the fireplace up there.
I was putting the fireplace.
Yeah, we don't have we have the ESTV, but I don't think we have a game we can watch right now.
No.
All right, so we already have Double A says World Junior ticket package for my wife in 2019. Nice. Best gift ever. That's a good one. Kub's watching the text line 780-218-9999. Right now, he's got a sports update.
Oilers 2024 fifth-rounder Connor Clattenburg has signed his 3-year entry-level deal, having 18 points in 22 games with the OHL Firebirds this season. Earlier, it was the Devils dancing past the Rangers 5-0, while the Jets held off the Maple Leafs 5-2. And later, it's the Battle of Florida, Caps versus Bruins, and the Red Wings battling the Blues, seeing 13 games in the NHL. And in football, Deontay Johnson has been claimed from the Texans, with Tank Dell tearing his ACL last night. And the Saints get ready to face the Packers. On the court, the Raps meet the Knicks, seeing 14 games in the association. And this sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring. Proudly family owned and operated for 33 years, Paramount Flooring is your full-service flooring and tile supplier. Whether you're a homeowner, renovator, or builder, Paramount Flooring provides the flooring to fit your lifestyle and budget. Visit their showroom that's open 7 days a week at 10707 184th Street. Paramount Flooring. Flooring for the life that you live. The Reid Wilkins Show returns after the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
You know, this year, I want to give the gift of Christmas spirit.
Okay, well, what's the going price for Christmas spirit?
Actually, surprisingly affordable. $25 brings Christmas to life for a senior living at a Capital Care Center.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, yeah, and they have a community shuttle, so Christmas spirit continues all year long. They can go out and do things and just be reminded there's an entire village of people who care about them.
Become a part of our village at Capital Care Center. Donate at capitalcarefoundation.net.
Oh, we're good. Okay. Reid Wilkins with you. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Jason Milne is off today. Joaquin Gage is going to chill out with me for some of the show. Guy Flaming will hop on a little bit later on. World Junior preview. Of course, that starts on Boxing Day. Always a fan favorite for people to watch over the Christmas season. We'll talk a bit about the Edmonton Oilers. We'll talk about Christmas gifts. Best Christmas gift you ever received is our off-topic topic for William Huff. Penner's Pancakes in grade 4. I was super pumped when I got the Hulkamania workout set. Well, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
And NS Josh says, road hockey goalie gear in the early 90s. The pads were lime green, rubber, and indestructible. Pretty good.
Sure that wasn't the Susan Summers Thigh Master?
Jeez.
Just with a Hulkamania shirt on it?
With the Hulkamania shirt on, yes. Classic. 780-218-9999 if you want to text the inbox. Hop into the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Let's see what we can get to today. Obviously, like I was talking about, different routines for people here leading into Christmas, and you can email Reid at edmontonsportstalk.com. All right, Gager, for fun here.
Okay. I'm ready.
Shohei Ohtani won the Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year. He has now won it thrice, as I like to say. So that ties him with Michael Jordan. There have been 3. Now, again, this is one of these things. If you're wrong, don't worry about it. I thought you would be, because you like guessing and stuff like this too. 3 people have won AP Male Athlete of the Year 4 times. Do you know who they are?
3 people.
So it's been given out since 1931, but I'll give you a bit of a hint. Oh, sorry, now I lost the article. There it is. The people who have won it 4 times are all in our lifetime.
Oh, geez. Okay. Gretzky?
No. But that's going to lead me to something else later.
Okay.
Because remember, this is the Associated Press.
I know.
So I'll give you further hints. One of them is active. The other one is active, but not really, though he did play over the weekend. And the other one was active and then disgraced.
Oh, so Tiger.
Yeah, was the one that's sort of active. Yeah.
Well, sort of, and not disgraced.
Well, I don't consider Tiger disgraced. Like, yeah, I guess you could make an argument.
Oh, okay. I thought he was the disgraced one.
I thought you would get the disgraced one.
Oh, really?
Is what I'm calling the disgraced one.
You got to be worse than Tiger?
Well, this one guy wasn't disgraced for personal issues. He was disgraced for what he did to win AP Male Athlete of the Year and several other.
Oh, Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong won it 4 years in a row, 02 to 05.
Yeah.
The other guy's active.
The other guy is active 4 times?
Yes, and he's beloved by somebody at EST.
LeBron.
Okay. So those are the 4-time winners of Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year. So here are my other sort of fun questions around this. How long do you think it's been? And I got to emphasize, this is Associated Press, so it usually has a strong American slant to it. How long do you think it's been since somebody from neither MLB nor the NBA won AP Male Athlete of the Year?
Neither. Oh,
just take a stab at it.
3 years?
Try since 2012.
Really?
Did you hear what
did he say?
You didn't hear.
Phelps.
It was Michael Phelps in 2012, and it was also Michael Phelps in 2008.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson from NASCAR won it in 2009. Woods got his 4th in 2006. I mentioned the year, but generally this has been a baseball or an NBA award. So you mentioned Gretzky as a possible 4-time winner. 1 time, 82.
Really?
Yep. Now,
That's
here's the final fun question out of this.
okay.
Most recent Canadian to win Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year.
Male athlete.
Yeah.
Canadian. Oh, shoot.
Well, a Canadian woman has never got this award.
Okay.
It was just Gretzky and this guy were the only two Canadians to have ever got this.
Donovan Bailey?
Really good guess, but not quite the right guy.
Ben Johnson?
Ben Johnson won it in 87.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's a little disgrace, too.
Yeah, so, well, definitely. Well, because that's what he was, obviously really good.
Yeah.
And then we found out why he was good.
Yeah.
Though everybody in that race perhaps was better than they would have been.
He peed plutonium at the time.
That's right. Just a solid. He just peed the uranium rod from that episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That's just what came out.
Yeah.
They didn't even
could
test
run
it.
the city.
They didn't even test it. So what did he test positive for? We don't know, but his urine glowed, so we're going to disqualify him.
Yeah.
That'd be a great title for a book. Oh, okay, that's going to be my next book. What was my first book from last week? Reid Wilkins and the Sorcerer's.
Oh, it was something, not the, and the
where's the
Sorcerer's
picture of it?
Stone.
So
It
my
was,
second book is going to be Reid Wilkins and the glowing urine.
The glowing urine.
I'll pull it up here.
I like that.
Yeah, we have it somewhere, don't we? We got to keep track of these.
I'll find it. It's amazing.
Jasmine is in the nasty chat. Hello, Jasmine. Mex Bezzosi was guessing Steve Nash.
Yeah, I thought, but it was only 2 years there, right?
Yeah, this is Associated Press. There's several other awards. But yeah, a few people were guessing Lance Armstrong. So anyway, I really had no reason to do that other than just we would have fun chatter about it. Last year, Ohtani, Judge in 22, Ohtani in 21, LeBron in 20, Kawhi Leonard in 19, LeBron in 18, Jose Altuve in 17. So there's a non-American. That
are on borderline.
Steph Curry won it back in 15. Madison Bumgarner, remember the pitcher, was in 14.
Okay, yeah.
A.A. Ron Rodgers in 11. Breeze in 10. So Jimmy Johnson from NASCAR in 09. Brady only has one, 07.
Really?
Yep. Bonds in 01. That's the only time he won it. McGuire in 98.
I found your book, Reid.
Okay, which one is this one?
Reid Wilkins in the Chamber of Thoughts.
The Chamber of Thought. Okay, so
it.
I'm gonna have a 7-part series. We got to save these somewhere. So Reid Wilkins and the Chamber of Thoughts, and then the second book will be Reid Wilkins and the glowing urine.
Might have to get some of my Deathly Hallows out for that book.
Have you read any of those?
Have I?
You have, eh?
Well, when I was dominating, this is the second time I've mentioned dominating in the UK one year. I think J.K. Rowling had written up to the Chamber of Secrets. No, Prisoner of Azkaban. I think that's the fourth.
That's the
third or fourth.
Third or fourth. Yeah.
So there was Pottermania, and the Philosopher's Stone was coming out. And I remember I was in Scotland, we went to the little movie theater, and all these little kids with their Harry Potter glasses and had marked their face with a little scar. And I'm like, what is going on here? And so I watched the movie, and I thought it was great. It was a kid's movie. It was a little bit scary, but I thought, perfect movie. And then I go, well, I might as well read these books. And so I started reading them. And I read the first one, it took a weekend because it was so
okay.
It was written in a style for kids. But as the next book came out, I found that her writing became more adult, I would say.
Okay.
So it grew with the fans,
right?
I thought, which I thought was brilliant at the time. And so but the thing was I read them to my son. Like when you have your kids, you read books, and he loved when I read to him as a kid. So I ended up reading him all the Harry Potter books when he was a kid. So
I read, I think I've told you how I've started reading books on the library app. So I finished a Reacher book last night.
Which one?
Echo Burning.
Okay.
So I've read the first 5, and then I read The Enemy because that's the first one. They're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good. And I read the first Harry Potter book this year on the library app, and I definitely felt not overly pulled into it.
No,
just because it's written for
it's for kids.
Not
but
that yeah. But there was some stuff it really skips over. I remember when they had to do the chess thing at the end. It was just like, and after moving a few pieces around and really thinking, they made it. And I was like, I want a description of what's happening. So I don't know if I'd ever keep reading them. I probably would enjoy them more as they went on, but I don't know if I want to invest in it.
No, it is a time investment, but I think you'd find that they become more intermediate, I would say, as the series go along. But I went to private school too. Right, so there was something. Not that Notre Dame was magical by any sense of the imagination, but it just. I think I had more of a connection to it that way, where all my friends were at school, and you go home for the summertime, you don't see them, and then you don't see them till you get back there, and you all eat in the same cafeteria and stuff, and dorms, things like that.
So. The Canadian, one of the big Canadian awards, it's now called the Northern Star Award. Okay. This was the one that was the Lou Marsh Award for a long time. Okay. So this is just best Canadian athlete, male or female. So Summer McIntosh, swimmer, got it this year. Here's a good one. Do you know when the last time a male Canadian hockey player won this?
3 years ago?
Try 2015.
Really?
Yep.
Sydney?
It was a goalie.
Canadian goalie won this.
Carey Price?
It was Carey Price.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So since 2015, Penny Alexiak, Joey Votto, Michael Kingsbury, freestyle skier.
Okay.
Bianca Andreescu.
Okay.
In 20, it was shared between Alphonso Davies and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif.
Who?
Exactly. He was the guy for the Chiefs, but he did all the COVID work.
Okay, yeah.
Damian Warner in 21, Marie-Philippe Poulin in 22, and Shea Gilgeous. Am I saying that right? Gilgeous Alexander in 23.
Wow.
Now, do hockey players suffer because of the structure of the season?
To get that award?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because
I think it's more burnout, isn't it?
Well,
they could probably give it to a hockey player every year, but it's
well,
nice.
In Canada, you could always just pick the best hockey player. They haven't done a lot of hockey, like male hockey. Crosby in 07 and 09. My goodness. Sorry, Gager.
Yeah, no, I mean, Olympic years, there's going to be one Canadian standout, usually at least one. We saw it with Summer McIntosh. That was a no-brainer. She'll probably be the next Canadian athlete to get to the 3 times winning it, right? She didn't win best Canadian athlete?
No, this is it.
Oh, but she didn't get Associated Press,
No, so the AP...
It's more American.
It's more American, though they have done the Altuve and 2 Canadians.
Yeah, okay.
If they could find Canada on a map.
Oh, that's funny. I remember going to trips. I'd go to Bellingham just to get shoes sometimes.
Yeah.
And people... we were hours away. And they go, "Oh, you're from Canada. You guys live in igloos up there?"
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
780-218-9999. Our off-topic topic is the best Christmas gift you have ever received. We're going to get some of those. Which NHL team warmed up in? Because somebody got Cooperalls as a gift. Which NHL team warmed up in? Didn't the Flyers take a warm up in Cooperalls?
No, it was the Carolina Hurricanes.
Carolina because Hartford wore them as well.
I think they did both, though. I think the Flyers did them one year when they unveiled their jerseys. They did it as a commemorative thing. But didn't they used to play in those back in the day,
yes,
too?
I think one
man.
team did it it was Hartford and Philly. One team did it for 2 years, and I think one team did it for 1.
Glad those aren't in.
But when I played minor hockey, most of my...
Yeah.
Well, it says they both did it from 81 to 83, and then it was banned for safety concerns.
Yeah, because you slide into the boards, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I remember minor hockey, and we would... there would always be 1 or 2 guys that wore Cooperalls. The other guys had pants.
Yeah, you could wear
whatever you wanted.
All right. Few more minutes here with Gager. We're having fun. I was going to say on a Friday afternoon because it feels like a Friday afternoon.
It basically is.
It is Monday. EST will have no programming tomorrow.
Wow.
But we will be... Well, no live programming. You can get encore presentations.
What are we
Don't
having,
call them
Maddie?
reruns.
Best of drafts we're going to have? Ray and Gavin Cobb on the
best
Hangout.
of.
Trade,
Best
yeah.
of. So it's a best of. So this is perfect. I always liked, again, back in the day when there wasn't 18,000 sports channels, one of my good friends and I would record the plays of the year.
Oh, nice.
And so we couldn't wait to watch all the sporting plays of the year, which was like, whatever, 10 minutes and stuff. But and then we'd record it on the VHS and watch it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brew House. NHL lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankers of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Here's Kubusch.
The Oilers have signed 2024 fifth-round pick Connor Clattenburg to an entry-level contract, while later the Flyers get set to meet the Penguins. The Blue Jackets play the Canadiens, and the Stars take on the Utah HC. Elsewhere, the Elks have signed 9 players for the upcoming season, including 7 Americans and 2 national players, while the Texans have claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson after it was confirmed that Tank Dell suffered an ACL tear in last night's loss to the Chiefs. Tonight, it's Monday Night Football, seeing the Saints kick off against the Packers. And there's 14 games around the NBA, seeing the Raptors on the court against the Knicks. This sports update is presented by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach, trusted by the best in the game. Find them online at AdvantageSportMed.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show returns after the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of Injury Law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out. The grand opening sale ends soon.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
All right, the Coob on the saxophone. Sounding good. 780-218-9999. Joaquin Gage sitting in with me for part of the show today. Jason Milne taking the day off as we move fully into the Christmas season. So the Oilers will not play again until Saturday at Los Angeles. And that'll be a 2 o'clock game. So the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show will be at 1 o'clock. Got an email here from William Mike Spear, a Limerick.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go. Gotta get the music. There was once a guy named Jay. They talked film while he's away. The Oil 3-on-3 when they play in OT makes me say yippee-ki-yay. That was really good.
That was really good.
Phil worked in Jay being away. What he shows he's current listening to the show.
Holy smokes.
Oilers have a good overtime record, which I want to talk about, and yippee-ki-yay working in the Die Hard reference, which I saw at the Garneau on Friday. Kub watched it for the first time over the weekend, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But Gager and I are going to get fired up for Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years, and the authorized dealer for Napoleon Fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon Fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. I had someone ask last week, are you concerned that the Oilers don't have as many regulation wins as other teams? And I said, well, fair question, because you won't have 3-on-3 overtime in the playoffs. But during the regular season, I just get fired up when it goes to 3-on-3. The Oilers have gone to overtime 9 times, which is a fair bit in 34 games. They're 7-2. So I just say, you know what? I get it when you get into the postseason, and you'd like maybe a little bit better second. But 3-on-3 is a strength. Like it is part of the game. It's part of how to win in the regular season. And I'm just saying, embrace what these guys can do in 3-on-3 overtime.
And look, a part of building a team is you cannot just build a team built for the playoffs, or else there's a chance you might not make it, which sounds odd, but there's a definite style play. I look at the old Kings teams that were big, lumbering, but you can't play that way for 82 games. You have to have success during the regular season, and then hopefully you've built it where you're built for success in the playoffs too, I think. And that record's kind of, it's interesting to me on one level, because I think the Oilers are at a place where they haven't played too many games against teams that haven't brought a good game.
Right. So
I think you're more likely going to see more overtime games with the Edmonton Oilers, just because the fact that other teams play them so hard.
Right.
So and they have one of the best units to play out there on 3-on-3 overtime. It's absolutely ridiculous when those guys have that much space out there to do their stuff, and then they can come back with just as dangerous people that have proven they're quite valuable in overtime.
Well, so Ekholm scores the overtime winner against Boston. Nurse has several overtime winners in his career. He was the next guy up.
Yeah.
They can go Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse. And maybe Nurse might go out there before Ekholm some nights, depending on how the game is going. And it's pretty. I mean, that San Jose game, they tie it. What was it? 2 goals in 31 seconds.
Yeah.
By the time, and you saw with McDavid, Bouchard, and Draisaitl that they can just put the puck in an area because they know the other guy is going to get it. Like, it's behind the back. It's
just the indirect passes that they can do, right? It doesn't always have to be tape to tape. They know where a guy is going to be, and they can lay it into an area where, and even that game, the goal that Leon scored was interesting to me, because I thought it looked like he kind of double clutched, and he could have shot it right away, but Askarov came over and was trying, like, obviously it's a little bit different because his blocker's coming that way, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times Leon tries to get it a little bit in the topper portion of the net from that side. And I think because he put it low.
Yes.
And he kind of banked it in.
I think the pass got tipped on the way across.
Oh, is that why he kind of?
And then Askarov went up.
Yeah, he was trying, he's going to go high, and then Leon makes a subtle adjustment that only the best can do. You know what? I'm going to put this lower because his glove's coming towards me, which he's not used to. He's used to his blocker's coming. He's used to the glove on that side, right?
I still wonder if it's coming that 3-on-3 goes to 10 minutes. Because I read The Athletic does that player poll, and that was one thing that came up. Because I think, you always have to remember, and I always remind people of this, at the end of the day, as much hatred as Bettman and the officials get They're actually not making the rules. It's still the board of governors, GMs, presidents, coaches, or players might have input. And I still think if a GM misses the playoffs in 3-on-3 overtime on the last game of the season, that would be easier to swallow than missing it in a shootout. Because at least he could say, okay, we didn't have the skill. Or our
Merry Christmas, buddy.
Or our skill guys didn't perform, as opposed to, yes, skill is part of a shootout, but it just feels a little more kind of random. As opposed to you got to still make a hockey play in 3-on-3.
I mean, I liked the idea of the shootout because it was something I'd never seen before, and I think a lot of people were excited about it. But I mean, in the case where Askarov, essentially has a unique night where he's keeping the Oilers at bay, and they get to the shootout, and he wins the game because whatever. I just like the fact that there's still, although it's not 5-on-5, it's still a true kind of hockey aspect of winning the game. You're beating. It doesn't come down to the singular goalie against the guy, right? And I liked it for a while, but I would prefer 10 minutes because I really think it's getting done within those 10 minutes. And even if it got to, if they played 10 minutes of 3-on-3 with no goal, then I'm fine with a tie at that point. But I just don't think it gets to that point.
The Oilers obviously have not been in a shootout this season. There are 5 teams in the Eastern Conference that have not been in a shootout. The Jets have not been in one. The Predators have not been in one. The Sharks have been in 4 shootouts and lost them all. Philadelphia has been in 5, and they're 3-2. So if you extended it to 10 minutes, how many? And it might be kind of fun. And I know a lot of teams will put out their top unit every second or every third shift, usually every second if they can. But you might have a situation where, Mark and Brown, you got to go. Everybody else is exhausted.
But I think what you'll find in certain situations, and I think people, what about the extra point, or what do you do with that? I think you would get down to the games in March and April where points are becoming crucial for teams.
Right.
You might see a goalie change on the fly and get 4 out there. Right? Because if it comes down, I've got 3 games left. I got to win all 3 to get in. I know that. And I get into overtime. I'm waiting for full control. My goalie's coming, and I'm putting a 4th guy out there.
Now, you don't get a point if you get scored on in that situation, of course. But a team might say, okay, whatever, we'll just go for it. We're going to gamble that they can't clear the puck.
I really think if even if it goes to overtime, if there's no shootout and you win in overtime, the other team doesn't get a point.
Well, you would like to just see
just go 2.
Just go 2-0. Yeah. Well, a lot of people would like that. But I often say this. To me, that's the greatest innovation we've seen in hockey, is that they actually went to 3-on-3.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, going to 4-on-4 was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And then to go to 3-on-3. And Ekholm said it after the game, where he was like, I have to try to bury that. Like, of course they try to bury it, but he's got to end it. Like, it's the chance, and he knows if he misses, it's a 2-on-1 or a breakaway the other way, and he's not going to be the one to figure. It would have been who was on the ice. It would have been exhausted Draisaitl, or Draisaitl wouldn't have been back. Maybe Nuge.
He would have changed.
But trying to defend it. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because it's a fun part of the game. Whenever there's 3-on-3. Like even that game, Ottawa and Vancouver on Saturday. It didn't last long, but
it was 2-on-1.
Yeah.
It was like watching a practice.
Yeah.
It was great.
And who was it that scored? Was it Sanderson that scored for Ottawa? I can't remember.
I think it was.
And it's one of those where it doesn't look like a great goal because it's the one that went under the Vancouver goalie. But then you think there's so much more for him to worry about. Okay, is he going to cut across the crease? Is he going to roof it short side? Is he going to try to find someone else back door? So it just puts the goalies under so much more stress.
It's exciting. I love, end to end is just absolutely great to watch.
Yeah.
I think.
Now, I'm not saying they should do it in the playoffs. I
No.
don't advocate for that. But
that's part of the grind. And it sucks. But if you go to 2 overtimes and still got to play, then that's just part of it.
That's life.
Yeah.
Joaquin Gage sticking around for a few more minutes here at Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, who is off today on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Just touching on a couple of things, and I know you and Hernan had some time to talk about this as well. Rangers lose again. And, it appears that they're disinterested in playing hockey.
Yeah.
So, but people wonder, how can that happen? You're between the ages of 20 and 35. You're making probably several million. You get to live and work in or near Manhattan, and you're not interested in going to work. How does that seep into a person or a dressing room?
Well, it seems to be such a unique situation where the players are still buying what the coach is selling, but not what the GM is. And
okay.
It's I've never really had that. And Cass had mentioned, I talked to him and he said, well, yeah, we had our GM treat Alfie, who was our Alfredson, our captain, their lifeblood of the team, poorly and slag him in the newspaper. And we didn't feel like he was part of us. You know? He was so, but this just seems, yeah, like you said, they're a completely disjointed hockey team. Chris Kreider, it was kind of their emotional leader, I think, in New York, gets healthy scratched the last game, which can only, in my mind, be there's a trade in the works for him. Because why would you sit out one of your top guy, a 50-goal scorer, right before the last game before the break, and unless you have something in the works and you just don't want him to get injured.
Right.
I don't know. That's what a nightmare. I really thought at the beginning of the year that from the East, that would be the team that breaks through. And
they should be good.
They should be really good. They've got everything in place. They got the duo. They got the Norris caliber defenseman. Well, they had Trouba at the time, and they have arguably one of the top 3 goaltenders in the league. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a weird one. And when all this stuff started about, there's problems in New York, they were 12-5-1 or something.
I know,
like, okay, and then now they're down to a wild card spot, and now they're under 500 with the loss today, and heading, because now they'd be 16, 17, and 1 with 3 and 8 in their last 11.
It's amazing. That I mean, I can't imagine if that happened here. I don't. With this team, I don't think it could. But yeah, I guess you never say never.
Well, you never know. I mean, even when the teams here were bad, at least the teams. I guess when there was some stuff with Saray's injury and all that kind of stuff, but
yeah,
when the teams were just lousy. I mean, Rob and I used to get, Taylor Hall's a cancer. We used to get those calls, but it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Have you looked at the roster? It's just sort of like it was sort of that sort of stuff. Do you buy any of this Vancouver stuff? But here's the thing: it's 23 young men. They don't all get along.
No. But I mean, I've told this before. I was with Edmonton for most of my NHL career, and then I went to camps other places, and one that stood out was I went to the Washington Capitals camp, and this is the year after they went to the final. And I was used to guys hanging out all the time. Yeah. And granted, I wasn't there for long, so I didn't really get it. But just being in that dressing room and seeing how everyone kind of reacted to, I thought they all hated each other.
Really?
Yeah, it was so odd to me that once practice ended, everyone just went poof. Whereas when I was in Edmonton, everyone was like, "Okay, where are you going? What do we do?" We would there would be certain guys go somewhere or whatever, but
sure,
we would all hang out in some respect, and there was just none of that there. And they were, they got smoked, but they still went to the Stanley Cup
final.
They're
still a good team.
Kolzig was a good guy. I'll say that.
And Wilson was the coach, wasn't he? Was it Ron Wilson?
Ron Wilson, yeah.
Was Oates there at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think he didn't like rookies. That's for sure.
I have heard that, just stories that I won't even say the franchise because it's hearsay, but a player got traded somewhere, and walked in and went to his stall and was kind of like, is somebody going to come talk to me? And it was just basically being, and finally he went to the guy next to him. Well, hey, I'm so-and-so. I just, good to see you.
Yeah.
And then, after practice, he had to talk to the trainer about something, or just be like, hey, what do I, what if I want to stretch or whatever after, what do I do? And then he said to the trainer, so wait, what happens after practice? Like, are you guys going to hang out or chill out here, or do guys go out? And the trainer even said, did you see what happened when you walked into the room? That's how this team acts. Like,
really?
Yeah.
That's how it was weird to me. And I mean, they were still successful for a few years there. Like, they were a good team, and maybe just the animosity between everyone. They just, that's the way they operated. I didn't get it. And then that was and I came back to Edmonton. I've told this before, but we were in Colorado, or no, we were in Columbus, and it was a rare night after a game where we stayed over, and so we all went out for dinner, and most of us, but I'd say a good portion of guys went for dinner at one place, and we were all sitting around, and I turned to Dougie and I go, well, why does I went to this place, whatever, and teams weren't close. Why are teams close in Edmonton? He goes, well, up till the past few years, and even now, still, we would fly commercial. So we were always spending one more night over in wherever we were, and it's a long trip home too on the plane. So in the Eastern Division, those guys, they have a game on the road. They're back in their beds a lot of times before midnight, so they don't get that time to kind of gel away from the rink as a group because they have to. So maybe that was a little bit of it, but. Yeah, it was weird, man. It was really weird. I didn't like it.
Gager, thanks for sticking around. You're a great teammate.
Try to be.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate
a great Christmas,
you,
man.
This is great, man.
Yeah,
Merry
it's
Christmas,
a lot of fun.
buddy. It's great. It's funny because I can't believe, all those years, I'd get a text message, hey, Joaquin, give me a call. I'd call you and goes, hey, you free? You go, I can't do it. So okay, next time. And then I'd listen to you, but it's over the past 4 months? This has been great, buddy.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Awesome.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. More of the Reid Wilkins Show when we get back.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
In life, it takes a village. From childhood to your golden years, we all need support. At Capital Care Foundation, we've built that village for our 2,100 seniors. Join us in creating a nurturing environment that feels like home and fosters community connections. Your donation makes a difference. Visit capitalcarefoundation.net today and become a vital part of our village. Because together, we can make every stage of life a shared journey. Be a part of the journey. Support Capital Care Foundation.
The countdown is on to the legendary Boxing Week sale at FXR Factory Outlet Superstore. Don't miss the best deals of the season on fan favorite gear. Huge savings on FXR lifestyle apparel and outerwear, along with FXR Adrenaline Unlimited merch. Miss this event and you miss out huge on the best deals for the entire family. More great incentives in store, so mark your calendars, gather the crew, and head to FXR December 26th through 31st. 324 Mayfield Common in Edmonton.
Connor Clattenburg has signed his entry-level deal with the Oilers after being picked in the 5th round in this year's draft. And with 13 games today, it's the Hurricanes taking on the Predators, the Wild battling the Hawks, and the Ducks against the Golden Knights. In football, the Elks have signed 9 players for next season, including 2 national players and 7 Americans, while the Texans have claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson with tanked out, tearing his ACL last night against the Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Packers get set to play the Saints on the lone game tonight. And on the court, the Raptors throw it down with the Knicks on a 14-game NBA slate. The Reid Wilkins Show continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
All right, hope you're having a great Monday afternoon, December 23rd. Hope your Christmas preparations are going well or have gone well. Might have been pretty good, pretty limited. I don't have the Christmas responsibilities of a lot of you, I'm sure. 780-218-9999 if you want to text the EST inbox. Our off-topic topic is the best Christmas gift you ever received. We got a few, somebody said World Junior tickets. Road hockey gear was another one. I saw a couple of video games come into the nasty chat as well. You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Zachary Kubusch will be along for the ride until 6 o'clock as well. Kub, did you say you had some special video for me? Or is this, do you have it ready?
Yeah.
What are we looking at? If you are on YouTube.
Yeah, Northern Illinois, I believe it was, won the famous Idaho Potato Bowl that Matthew Wanick just dies for. And he's probably very excited about what happened in the game. I guess it was pushed to overtime. It was a 21-0
double overtime.
Lead. Yeah. Double overtime. It was exciting. It was a 21-0 lead for USLA, I believe it was there. And
Fresno State.
Oh, okay.
Northern Illinois Huskies over Fresno State Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
It was a dog
I like
battle.
that name. They dogged it out on the blue field. And here, if you're watching on the YouTube, pulling up a video, they had fries, of course, because potatoes, I mean, they're made of fries. Throwing fries up in the air. It's fantastic. So they celebrated with the win at center field. Yeah.
We're throwing French fries.
Maybe a little bit more greasy than you'd like, but I mean, if when in Rome, right? You got to throw some fries around, and I believe that the head coach was also dunked on with a bucket of fries, which is always fun to see.
So they didn't pour Gatorade.
No.
They poured a bucket of fries on him.
I would rather have that than Gatorade, to be honest. Like, if you're walking around, I mean, you might hit the shower.
Well, you're not going to be
after,
as cold.
That's true as well.
Some of these cold weather games, and you get dunked with Gatorade, you're going to get frostbite. Not frostbite, you're going to get hypothermia.
Right, just right away, right on your back or something.
Like going outside with wet hair in the winter.
Yeah, it's like doing the when the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was all that, but you're doing it with Gatorade if you get a win. I mean, it's a good thing. I'd rather have that, though, than mayonnaise as well. That's the Mayo Bowl.
Who's it? Oh, jeez.
I know, it's all crazy. Matthews told me some crazy stuff. That the States is awesome.
They don't pour mayo on people, do they?
I think they do.
See, Gager.
Merry Christmas, Gager.
But you couldn't really, mayo would be too slow to really pour on a coach.
If you
wouldn't it?
Like, if you, I don't know.
It's like with the Gatorade shower is a bit of surprise. The if it was a bucket of mayo, you'd kind of have to hold it up, and he would sense something's behind him.
You'd have to distract him.
He would just jump
for a
out of
few
the
minutes.
way. Yeah.
Hey, look over there, and then you just
look,
wait.
Coach, something's happening.
Yeah, maybe if you mix it with water or something, like dilute it a little bit and get the viscosity.
But then it's not true mayo if it's diluted. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I would like to see that though. Or the Pop-Tart Bowl is what's on my calendar, December 28th for that one. But
the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Stuff. Yeah. So they give them Pop-Tarts or whatever.
The trophy is just a big Pop-Tart.
Yeah, they get to eat it. They sacrifice it. What Iwanek likes to say. But with the Idaho Potato Bowl that happened today, they gave them, like, it was literally a bowl of potatoes, and they get French fries and stuff, which might not be the best trophy, but I guess they won the game. So
you won a bowl game. We got a limerick here from the Big Uke. He writes one pretty much every show. Email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. On Reid Wilkins' show, We All Tune, for sport and movie talk, it ends too soon. With carol and cheer, Christmas is here. Well wishes to the Nasties. May joy be your boon. Pretty good. Big Uke, a very talented man. Molten mountainous mound of magma.
Wow, you keep adding to it. Oh my
Do I?
gosh.
I don't
think
know.
so. Mountainous man. I think a moltenous mound of magma, and then we got to keep adding to that because
We will.
He is a fantastic nasty as all the other ones are as well, but he has a special talent for those limericks as well.
Very good limerick. All right, 780-218-9999. Let's get to. Do we have any off-topic text before we get to some more
for
of
the
this stuff?
best Christmas gift for William Huff, of course, the off-topic topic here. The favorite gift from Big Uke, he said that it was a Nerf gun that he remembered for off the top of his head, and it was a big belt-fed LMG, and I had that same one as a kid as well. So you would have the little plastic rings, of course, and you'd have the Nerf bullets in it. And it's like you just felt like you were like Terminator or something. You had the big LMG that you would like hold to your waist, and it's like,
What does LMG stand for?
light machine gun.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Pretty,
All right.
pretty heavy. But too much Call of Duty for me in my in my younger years. But he said best gift, looking back on it as an adult, a Dallas Stars signed jersey from the entire 06-07 team from his uncle, which is
neat.
fantastic. I'm
Yeah, that's
kind of
incredible.
jealous hearing that one. And then Grumpy Cat texts in and saying he's got 3 actually. Garth Brooks tickets in Vegas, Ryan Smith captain jersey after his retirement, and a handmade Snuggie from his girlfriend. Well, of course, and then he puts in brackets blanket with arms. I appreciate the clarification. Snuggies are awesome.
Yeah, those are great.
I wish I had one. I don't have one. I almost want to, like, instead of matching PJs, I almost want to go like matching Snuggies, just so I have the excuse to buy myself one. Like, I don't want to buy the one for myself and my family, be like, well, why didn't you get me one? So
Right.
late Christmas gift maybe.
780-218-9999. Keep those texts coming in. Jump into the Nasty Chat on YouTube. If you are there, hit that little thumb up. We want to see how high we can go today. Let others know where they can find us, where they then can subscribe. I'll just remind everybody, I know if you're listening or watching, you already know, we are on YouTube. And I bring this up because I had one of my cousins asking me, asking my mom, so asking me through my mom, that she has some colleagues who are saying, oh, Reid's not on Ched. What happened to him? So, YouTube, Edmonton Sports Talk. As you can tell people, just go to YouTube, put in Edmonton Sports Talk, subscribe to the channel. Do that once, you're subscribed. You can get notifications if you want. You can click on it easily to get live programming, all that kind of stuff. We are on iHeartRadio. So tell people, get the iHeartRadio app, put in Edmonton Sports Talk, favorite it, you get live programming, same with TuneIn Radio. And if you're not able to listen live all the time, after the fact, wherever you find your podcasts, that's how you listen to Edmonton Sports Talk. We're a year and 4 months in. I'm only 4 months in. Still a lot of new stuff, a lot of new energy, a lot of exciting stuff, and we still got to let the customer know that we're out there. So when we need other customers to help us with word of mouth. Follow us on Twitter at YEG Sports Talk. My account is at Reid Wilkins, and Jason, who is off today, at Jason Milne, Milne. Caster 1990, I have a Spider-Man Snuggie, which I still use. I'd like to get one of those.
That would be neat. Like, there's so many different ones because there was a fad like a few years back where it was the Snuggies, and I remember seeing them on the infomercials or whatever. I love those things like the slap chop. It would be like those same infomercials that would run.
Chop. What was that guy's name? Didn't he look like Mo the bartender a little bit?
Yeah, he's got an odd kind of look to him, and he was like, I don't know, he'd come out here, so you put the vegetables down there and bang, you got the slap chop. And
Vince Offer. Yeah. He's got a Wikipedia. Yeah. I don't know what his... Okay, so his real name, he's from Israel. His birth name is Offer Shlomi. And then when he started working in America, I guess, he became known as Vince Offer. So Offer is actually his real first name.
Oh, that's a good way to like swap it around. I mean,
Yeah.
it's better. It's kind of like Elton John when he changed his real name, Reginald. I don't think that's better than Elton John.
Was that Elton John's real name?
Yeah, Reginald. I remember that movie was really good. It was more of like a musical kind of twist to it. But that Elton John movie.
Did I see that one? No, I saw the Queen one.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
I haven't. Isn't that what they called it?
Yeah,
I
the
believe
Freddie
it.
Mercury one.
Yeah, yeah.
The one with Remy Malek. What's his name? Yeah, Malek.
Yeah.
Reginald Kenneth Dwight is Sir Elton John's real name.
Oh, yeah, I forgot it. Yeah, it's not even John.
I have not seen... That was Rocket Man, that movie.
Rocket Man.
Yeah, I
that's
did
what it
not
was,
see
yeah.
that one. All right. What were we talking about? Oh, let's do the oil understood. Let's do the oil understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a proud partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. Okay. Orders won yesterday. I'm sure you know that. They're doing very well. They are 11-2 since November 23rd. I'm going to dive into some numbers about them when we get to crunching the numbers, but I want to get to your feedback about this as well. By the way, Nuge didn't play yesterday, illness, so nothing serious for him. Victor Arvidsson jumped in, did very well on that top line with McDavid and Hyman. 780-218-9999. Koob, hit me with a couple of messages here before we break.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing here, I see from Sean a wellness check a little bit. Is he absent because of how electric yesterday's Commanders game was? And I just want to say, no, he's doing fine. I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke. But
Free-book day off. That's a good question.
Yeah, just to clarify that
they
one
won,
here,
I didn't see that. They won right at the end?
I believe so,
like
yeah.
6 seconds left?
It was crazy the way that the Jaden Daniels just out there just
and they're
doing
flexed.
his thing,
The Commanders are flexed into Sunday Night Football this coming Sunday against the Falcons.
I like how they do that. They flex the different games out.
Yeah,
but,
I think it's the third time they've changed the game this year.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. The Commanders should be on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, to slip it down the other way, of course, reading the text line here, very encouraged by how the Oilers are playing. They aren't giving up as many chances and a lot more under control than they were earlier in the season. That comes from Roach.
That's an interesting phrase, calling them a lot more under control than they were earlier in the season. I think that's a good way to put it. I use the term detailed a lot, but in terms of their defensive play, yes, things are more under control. They're not giving up cross-ice passes. They're not leaving people open. They're not checking poorly. I think there's more of a sense when the other team has the puck and that is attacking is that the Oilers have it under control, that they're not going to get sliced apart. Now, I know there was a game they gave up 6, but if you look at this last month overall, I mean, again, going 11-2, they've only allowed more than 3 goals in a game once. I mean, one of the games they lost 1-0. So, yeah, I think under control is a good way to put the Oilers' play lately.
Yeah, they're a little bit less sporadic. They're not really chasing the game, I think. And they're not a really fast team. Of course, you have the fastest player in the world that can zip by anybody, but they've slowed it down. They're not rushing the chances that they are generating, and they're really finding a groove, I think, as a team. Like, just their passing has been better overall, which kind of, good defense generates offense. And if you're able to get out of your zone without being forced back, you're going to give up less chances. So they're definitely more under control, I would say, as well.
All right, give me one more, and then we'll do a timeout.
Yeah, one that I think that you would like. It's time for Noah Philp to come up from the minors. He's bigger and faster than Derek Ryan, and I'm sure he could play on the wing better than Jeff Skinner if you left Ryan in. That's from Marty.
Well, I think we will see Philp at some point. It sounds like he's doing pretty good on the farm. On Monday on the Oil Stream, I was on with Tom, and we had Ryan Holt on, the Bakersfield Condors play-by-play voice, who said Holt's playing pretty well in the minors. He's 26 years of age. If you're comparing him to Derek Ryan, yes, he's bigger, and yes, he's faster. Probably wouldn't be as good in faceoffs consistently, though I think there was one game when he was called up earlier, he was really good. And he doesn't have Ryan's experience. So at what point does he come up, and at what point does he come up to stay? I think it could happen this season. While the team is going well, they probably don't feel rushed to do it. I think they feel that Derek Ryan is doing his job, so to speak. So they probably aren't thinking, okay, Derek Ryan necessarily deserves to be replaced. But I understand why that would be brought up. And I think Philp is a player you don't have to go outside the organization to perhaps fill a need of a bigger, faster fourth-line player. Like, you don't have to try to make a trade or or rush out to try to get. We were talking earlier today with Hernan when I was on the oil stream. Nick Bukestad was a great pickup for the fourth line a couple of years ago. Will they do something like that this year, or will they say, okay, Philp, you're going to come up and you're going to be in that role? Did that texter also refer to both him and Ryan being in this game at the same time, and Philp could even be a winger? Yeah, maybe. Guess it depends on health, what happens with Evander Kane, how Ryan is playing. But it's pretty obvious to me that that's the player in the minors who would be the one to come up and perhaps stick around. All right, 780-218-9999. We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown, personal injury law firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Visit them at jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. We got the Cube with the sports update.
Connor Clattenburg has signed his entry-level deal with the Oilers after being picked in the 5th round in this year's draft. And with 13 games in the NHL tonight, it's the Hurricanes taking on the Predators Wild, battling the Hawks and the Ducks against the Golden Knights. And in football, the Elks have signed 9 players for the upcoming season, including 2 national players and 7 Americans, while the Texans have claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson, having Tank Dell hitting the IR after he tore his ACL last night. Meanwhile, the Packers get set to play the Saints on the lone game in Monday Night Football. And on the court, the Raptors throw it down with the Knicks on a 14-game NBA slate. This sports update is brought to you by Sit and Sleep. And Sit and Sleep has kicked off its Boxing Week sales where you can save big on all the major sleep brands. Get a queen-size Euro top matched with patented non-flip pocket coils, gel memory foam, and 5 comfort zones for half price at just $3.99. Shop great deals like this and more at Sit and Sleep, but only while supplies last. Don't miss out. Get shopping at Sit and Sleep during their Boxing Week sales. You can find them in South Edmonton Common, next to Planet Fitness. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
From our Sentinel Storage family to yours, wishing you and those you love a wonderful holiday season. A new year filled with an abundance of great health, much laughter, successes that make you smile and delight, and to be surrounded by people and places that make you the happiest.
Play more tables and games. Play more tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you've got to do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your bad game. Play more tables and games.
Play more games. The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level. Trackman golf simulators are now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit in-store or at thecanadianicehouse.com for details.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit GalloLLP.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
So our off-topic topic for William Huff, best Christmas gift you ever received. Renato, hope I'm saying that right, in the nasty chat. Christmas 1977 in Chile, 11-year-old me got a skateboard. Not one kid had one for a year. That was the wow gift. That's a great story. Good old skateboard in 1977. If you're in the nasty chat, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to Edmonton Sports Talk. Ask a couple people in your life to give us a thumbs up. We're up to 62. We try to get to 100 every day. Obviously, I think people are a little more in and out than usual today with Christmas activities, whether it be preparation for cooking, maybe you're out shopping, or maybe you're at work. If you're at work, hey, thanks for making us part of your day. Hopefully we're making it pass as quickly as possible. What do you got there for me, Koob?
Yeah, Jeff's texting in here. Hey, Reid, when they have everybody healthy, the Oilers, would it not make sense to run 97, 29, and 93 down the middle and use their wealth of winger depth to their advantage and leave Brown, Henrique, Janmark as their shutdown line?
Yes, but I don't think they're going to do it. Because I think at this point they see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins primarily as a winger.
Yeah, he doesn't quite wow me. Like when I watch him as a centerman, he can maybe try and take the draw, but just playing up and down the ice, he definitely is more suitable as a winger.
Well, I just think he's become more of a winger over the last few years. I think that's a good question, and that kind of was the dream for this team as Draisaitl blossomed into a great player. That, oh man, like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins might be your third line center, but he's never. I'm trying to think. Has there been a long stretch of time where he was ever deployed that way? I don't know if there has been. Here's what I'm going to wonder about the line combinations. And whenever I talk about line combinations, I always remind people they can change in 5 minutes. Arvidsson played well last night. He got a goal, 5-on-5. He got an assist on the power play, filling in for Nuge. I still think that Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Kapanen is not a great second line. I think Podkolzin is a good forechecker. I think he's good with the body. I think he's a relatively responsible player. He gets on the PK. But again, if you're in that role, you have to get more points than he has. It was very exciting that he scored 3 games in a row. He didn't score before. He hasn't scored since. Kapanen, I think, has been pretty good with his speed. Well, I would say probably have to give him credit. I think very good with his speed. I think he's pretty good in terms of offensive awareness. Like he's been fine, especially for a waiver wire pickup. So credit to him. But is that a playoff caliber second line? Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Kapanen. I would hesitate to say that it is. Now, I realize the playoffs are over half a season away, but just thinking big picture. So I'm wondering, going back into LA on Saturday, I know you're not supposed to lose your spot because of injury, but we saw Arvidsson play well. So whether it's on Saturday or later in the season, or if you want to do line shuffling but not just go to the nuclear option automatically, could you put Arvidsson with McDavid and Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins on the wing with Draisaitl and Kapanen? Or Podkolzin. I'm sure Leon, as much as he has praised Podkolzin and Kapanen, I'm sure Leon Draisaitl would be thrilled to have Nuge on his wing. And then there's another player as the other winger. I don't know if it's ever going to be Jeff Skinner again or whoever. But that's kind of what I started thinking about last night. I totally get the question about Nugent-Hopkins as a third-line center. I guess my response would be, quite bluntly, how often has it happened? Do you think Knobloch really, really wants to do that? Or is it more of the priority, okay, let's find some wingers for Draisaitl? I don't know. That's kind of where I'm leaning.
I think it would be more to, like, you have to find that winger for Draisaitl, and of course, Evander Kane is still kind of in the shadows.
And there's
He's
another,
lurking, right?
Yes,
that's the big thing that could eventually slot in, but for a couple games, like you said, it was working with Podkolzin and Kapanen, and they are hard workers, but like you said, that's not going to cut the mustard or anything.
I don't think it's a bad line. Like I want to give Podkolzin and Kapanen credit for what they've been able to do. And again, to me, Kapanen's been better than expected because I've been watching hockey long enough that I don't get excited about waiver wire pickups. Okay? But, I mean, that San Jose game, until they switched the lines around, or let me say this. Like, McDavid was, the first period wasn't good. But when McDavid was on the ice, it tilted.
Yeah.
when McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice together, that usually tilts it against any caliber of competition. But preferably, you would want those guys split up and for Draisaitl to have very, very good wingers. And, you know, I don't think there's been a game in which the Oilers haven't been scoring where you'd say there was a lot of pressure from the Draisaitl line with Podkolzin and Kapanen. That's what I would think. Yeah, and Mex just brought up what you brought up. Where does Kane fit in all this? I still don't know. I still don't know when he's going to play. I don't know how great he's going to look when he comes back. I just don't know. So that's why I don't talk about Kane a lot, is because I just don't know how he's going to fit in. And I don't know if he comes back. And I don't think he's on McDavid's wing when he comes back. Maybe he would be on Leon's.
Like, that's
but
the
I don't
thing.
know.
Would he, because he's taken so much time off, is there even the possibility that he might take a stint down in like the AHL just to
there
condition
could be some
himself, right?
conditioning. I don't know how they're going to handle it.
Like, the Oilers can't rely on the fact that Evander Kane is going to save the second line. And not that it needs saving this moment, but you do need to kind of push it over the edge for playoffs, I believe, because if you roll with that lineup into playoffs, I don't think it'll benefit the team. It won't be negative, but you're not going to be able to find those extra chances because Draisaitl has that extra character right beside him to actually try and drive that play as well. Not that Podkolzin and Kapanen can't make those plays, but more consistently, and somebody who can actually, if
Kane on his game,
day,
there's
right?
no comparison to Podkolzin.
Not even
right?
close. Not even close. And it was rough watching the game that he had during the playoffs. Of course, everybody knew that he was injured leading into that, but he was just a shell of himself during that run. And of course, the injuries show for himself, the adductors and abductors. Like, man, you could barely even walk around, let alone skate on knives.
Right.
Right. So when he does come back, he'll take a while, I think, to really click back in, as most huge injuries do for players. So it won't take just snap of the fingers for him to just slot back in and do what he did before.
All right. Speaking of injuries, by the way, I was not watching the Chiefs game on the weekend, and then I heard all this stuff about Tank Dell.
Yeah, so...
And I haven't... I'm going to watch it right now. Is it gruesome? Should I watch it?
I didn't watch the injury myself, but I heard a lot of people talking about it.
I'm watching it right now. This might be a bad idea. I might vomit on air.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Not Dusty with the pickled herring. Because if we get 11K subs before Christmas...
The angle they have here, you can't see it that well. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a common injury in football, unfortunately, is a torn ACL or a ligament in the knee or what
I wondered if it was going to be some grotesque bending or something like that.
But of course,
you couldn't quite see that.
The Ravens a few days ago put Deontay Johnson on waivers, so he was claimed in response for the Texans. So now he's a Texan. Fourth team in the calendar year, by the way, that he's playing on.
That's hard to do.
That would be crazy to go to that many, like you're selling your house or whatever you're doing, condo.
Well, I don't know if they buy a house in every market.
Maybe an RV to go drive around.
He's driving around in an RV. He just changes the logo of the team that he's on. Let's before we get to some more Oilers text here, let's crunch the numbers for Gallo LLP. Gallo LLP, chartered professional accountants, where they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John at Gallo LLP if you would like to discuss further how they can crunch your numbers and help your business grow. Visit their website, gallollp.ca, and see how Gallo LLP can help your business grow. I'll just give some Oilers numbers here over the last month. These are very, very good. Since November 23rd, they are 11-2. Goals for and against, 53-28. So the Oilers are scoring 4.08 goals per game. They're only giving up 2.15. The PK in the last month is 85.2%. The power play is 29.4. So very good. And the two goaltenders, Skinner in that stretch is 7-2, 923 save percentage, 2.12 goals against average. Pickard is 4-0. And good for him for hanging in there against the Sharks and an awesome performance by Askarov at the other end. And let's face it, some missed chances by the Oilers. Pickard 4-0, 914 save percentage, 2.25 goals against average. They're going to split the two games in California. I would think they go Skinner against the Kings and then Pickard against the Ducks. So a lot of things have turned around. I think the goalies are better, playing better, and I also think the goalies look better because there's better defense in front of them. What's the one word that they've used over the last few years to help the goaltenders? You want defending that is predictable. What shot are you taking away? Where's the defender? If a goalie knows what's covered and what isn't covered on the ice, makes it a lot easier for him to read the play and make the save. So yeah, really good numbers for the Oilers here. Just some ones I'm highlighting over the last month. Snars Attacks in the Nasty Chat says, I love Oiler talk that's not negative. Well, fair enough. I don't know. I don't really go think about being, well, I try to be optimistic, but positive or negative, I just try to give what I think.
And honestly,
I think they're doing well lately.
And they are doing well. And it's easy to, like, when a team's bad, it's easy to say, oh, this is bad, this is wrong, this is wrong. But when a team's doing good, you have to try and be critical, but you can't be too critical because the team's winning, right?
Here's the thing. There's never been a perfect team. And in some of these games the Oilers have won, they've not been perfect. But if they have more goals in the end, they've done enough. Their players have been good enough to figure it out and get the win.
I think that's how you win a hockey game.
Give me a couple more messages here.
Yeah, so on the text line, 780-218-9999, the EST inbox. Why is nobody talking about the fact that Chris Knobloch is a terrible coach? Completely in over his head and got promoted just because his buddy Jeff Jackson handed him the job before he was ready. So boring to listen to. I'm surprised the Oilers have any energy at all after he puts them to sleep with his pre-game speeches. That comes in from Lewis. What a fiery hot take.
Apparently, Snars Attack says, I love Oilers talk that's not negative. That's some pretty negative criticism of the head coach. Who's that from? From Lewis? Okay. I guess I would say to anybody, you can criticize anybody you want. I would say back it up with something that you think is evidence of his bad coaching. The Oilers have a pretty good record under Knobloch. They have a pretty good roster, too, to be fair. That's harsh. It comes back to, and, Jay has said he wishes Knobloch were more energetic. Again, I don't think a coach being safe or non-expressive with the media or with the public makes him a bad coach. I don't think he's putting the players to sleep. He probably shows more emotion behind the scenes, or at least more of whatever he feels his team needs. I've never got the impression that he's in over his head. Again, if you want to write that in, that's fine, but you got to give me something that says, hey, Reid, he did this, this, and this, and that leads me to believe he's in over his head. Again, he is choosing to speak that way to the media and to the public. Most coaches usually are. There aren't a lot of Tortorellas in the world who might go off or yell at Larry Brooks or whoever. Maybe I'm spending too much time on this one text.
Well,
I mean, look, if you I'm just saying, if you want to criticize the coach, I think you have to go deeper than I don't like the way he speaks to the media.
And it's just the character that he shows publicly, like you're saying, with his team. He's a pretty calm, cool, collected guy. I think from my perspective, I don't think that's a negative thing at all. Like, he could be the most, I don't know, he could be an introvert or something like that. He could give nothing to the media the way he speaks or anything. Yeah. But if what he tells his team to do and shares to his team, teaches his team to do and go out there and kind of show on the ice, that's all that matters.
And I don't feel Knobloch has dodged criticism of the team when it's warranted. I mean, but he's very monotone and under control. There have been times he has said, not good enough tonight, or, we need that player to make that play. He just doesn't come out and hit the podium and throw his arms around. He just kind of says, we you know what, I've seen him play better. Okay, fair enough. That's how he's going to do it. Or, when the PK was bad, he wasn't acting like, oh, the PK's fine. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I understand. Hey, people can like or not like whoever they want. I just kind of not sure how to respond with that, because I don't think a coach answering questions in a certain way would indicate that he's in over his head or anything like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll ask Guy about it when we get back. We'll talk World Juniors too with my buddy Guy Flaming from the Pipeline Show. It's the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
The Oilers have signed 2024 fifth-round pick Connor Clattenburg to an entry-level deal. While the Flyers get set to meet the Penguins, the Blue Jackets play the Canadiens, and the Stars take on the Utah, HC, and elsewhere. The Elks have signed 9 players for the upcoming season, including 7 Americans and 2 national players, while the Texans have claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson after it was confirmed that Tank Dell suffered an ACL tear in last night's loss to the Chiefs. Plus, Monday Night Football has the Saints kicking off against the Packers, and there's 14 games around the NBA. Seeing the Raptors on the court against the Knicks. Guy Flaming joins Reid Wilkins on the other side of the break here on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
The countdown is on to the legendary Boxing Week sale at FXR Factory Outlet Superstore. Don't miss the best deals of the season on fan favorite gear. Huge savings on FXR lifestyle apparel and outerwear, along with FXR Adrenaline Unlimited merch. Miss this event and you miss out huge on the best deals for the entire family. More great incentives in store, so mark your calendars, gather the crew, and head to FXR December 26th through 31st. 324 Mayfield Common in Edmonton.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
All right, thanks for checking out the show this afternoon. Jason Milne is off, so Reid Wilkins on the host side of the table solo. My buddy Zachary Kubusch is working as the studio producer / sports update deliverer. Portions of this hour are presented by Canadian Brewhouse. The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level of ultra-cool. TrackMan golf simulators are now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit thecanadianicehouse.com. He is a friend of Edmonton Sports Talk. The award-winning Pipeline Show is what he is the host of. It is my buddy Guy Flaming checking in. Guy, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Reid?
I'm doing well. I'm going to tell you a quick story because I saw you in queue, and I think you were kind of grinning when you heard the one listener criticizing Knobloch's demeanor. You've been around a lot of coaches, so I'll just tell this story, and then you can take it wherever you want. Because I always say, look, don't read too much always into the coach's public persona. Gord Thibodeau, who I'm sure you've crossed paths with at some point, longtime AJHL, winningest AJHL coach. So he was coaching Lloyd when I first got to Lloyd. Then he went to the Saints, and then he was in Fort Mac. So I can't remember the year, but he's coming through early season Fort Mac at Lloyd. And the years I covered the Blazers / Bobcats, they usually weren't very good.
Okay.
And I'd heard about Gord from his players that he didn't say much the first 10 games of the season, like to the point where a lot of players were like, is he even going to coach? And then he kind of saw who did what, and then he ramped it up. So the Lloyd was bad, so Fort Mac comes in like a 4-5-2 routine victory. Didn't have to work very hard to beat Lloyd. And I'm waiting with my TV camera to do post-game. And Gord is tearing a strip off the Oil Barons, even though they won. Like, no commitment, guys aren't paying the price, won't take a hit to make a play. And he comes out, oh, hey, Reid, how are you doing? Oh, good, Gord. How are you? Yeah, I'm great. You want to do post? Yeah, sure, Gord.
Yeah.
And I asked him what he thought of his team, and he's like, oh, well, we're a learning team. We're happy to get, like, he's not going to come out and, like, there's separate, there's two versions of these people, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think a lot of times those calm coaches, they're like the classic duck on the water. They're on the surface, you don't see much. Below the surface, behind the scenes, they're going. So yeah, I wouldn't, with Chris Knobloch, who knows what he's other than the players and the personnel around the team. Who knows what he's like in the dressing room? He's not the type of guy that's going to let the public see exactly. He's not going to wear his emotions on the sleeve in public like that. And I don't have a problem with that.
Well, and also, I mean, certainly emotion is part of sports, but the yellers and and I know some people don't like this, and I respect that, and I still think there's room for motivation and tough love.
Sure.
But the coaches who just are constantly telling you how terrible you are, they aren't coaching anymore for the most part.
It's got to wear pretty quickly on a guy, doesn't it? Like we've always talked about, this coach has got a certain shelf life. It might be 2 years, might be 3 years. First year might be great, and then it kind of wears out his welcome a little bit. And you mentioned John Tortorella. Listen, I'm a Flyers guy. That's my team. So I was really leery when he took over the bench. I'll be honest. I actually think he's the right guy for that team right now to try to get a young team kind of whipped into shape. And I like that he doesn't kind of BS stuff afterwards and doesn't sugarcoat stuff. Maybe he's evolved a little bit and changed a bit. But I actually think he's a pretty good educator of the game for young players. And I think maybe it's the vets that he kind of wears on. Like, didn't he have a thing with Couturier last year? So maybe he might be good for young players, and maybe the vets, they might grow tired of him quicker.
But even as I was saying about how coaches choose to present themselves, I'm sure even sometimes Tortorella got mad at Brooksy or whoever. I bet you there's times where he's not even losing his temper, where he's choosing, okay, I'm going to take the heat off my team.
That's
or
right.
Brooksy wrote this about this D pairing. I'm just going to stand up to him just to show these. Much of what they do, probably more than we can imagine, is very calculated publicly.
Yeah, strategic. And especially we see it in the playoffs, right? Where a coach will start complaining about the officiating or something just to get the heat off his own team. They might be underperforming. Say, the refs aren't calling anything. It's like, I think Vancouver had problems with the Bruins, and they started complaining about the officials not calling anything. Might have been fair. But I think part of that was to try to take some pressure off the team a little bit, and maybe get them to rally around the coach a little bit too.
Well, the classic one was it was Brian Burke, and I think they were playing the Red Wings, because remember he said he had that prepared speech.
Yeah,
and it was like, contrary to popular belief, the Sedins do not play for Detroit. It just appears that way because they have a Red Wings jersey draped all over them.
That's right.
Whenever they have the puck. So that's part of the gamesmanship. Thanks how was shopping today? Because when I asked you to come on,
it's
you were
joy.
like, oh, I can swing it.
Who doesn't love to start Christmas shopping on December 23rd? It's the roads are, everyone's in a good mood. All the drivers are driving well and respecting one another, and the stores aren't crowded or anything. And everyone working the tills are all in a good mood because they're not getting yelled at all day by grumpy customers. It's great.
Which mall were you at?
Thankfully, we did not go into a mall this year. Did a Walmart stop and did a Shoppers Drug Mart stop and a couple other places, but did not have to. I guess there's still tomorrow. Will
yes.
Well, we still got one more day to go, Reid. So don't jinx me.
Okay, I won't. Thanks for hopping on. The World Juniors, we know what it means in this country. We know about all the great memories and the Jordan Eberle goal and on and on.
Yeah.
We can go. I want to ask you, though, before we dive into this year's tournament, because we watched the World Juniors. It's on this year. It's in a Canadian city, so we don't have the huge time zone. We don't have to get up at 4 a.m. or watch on tape delay. But as you know, there are a lot of people who will say, okay, it's a TSN product. Like they cram it down my throat. The commercials start in August. And the one thing I would say, and I still love the tournament, and it's fun watching the prospects. The one thing I would say, and I know some people are going to get mad at me, I would say it's a 10-team tournament. No, sorry, it's a 4-team tournament with 10 teams.
I think that's fair. I might say 5 teams most years. No Russians right now, though. So it probably takes it down to 4. Although, who are your 4? Obviously, Canada, the U.S.,
Canada,
Sweden,
the U.S. are now perennial powers, and then whoever else is peaking.
Yeah, because normally we would say probably Sweden and Finland, but the last couple of years, the Czechs have been okay.
Mm-hmm.
Slovakia has been okay. Adam Gajan has been, a star at this tournament in net for Slovakia the last couple of years. But in general, I would agree with you that it's a lot of teams and not a lot of contenders, put it that way. This year, I think the contenders I think it's a 2-team race this year, in my opinion.
Okay. And I should say, I still watch it. I just am not.
Right.
Like when I was a kid, I used to think it was awesome to see Canada win a game 13-1.
Yeah.
That doesn't attract me as much as an adult. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So who are your 2 teams this year? Give me that.
Canada, the U.S. I
surprise.
Yeah, the U.S. as defending champs, they probably have the best goalie in the tournament. Their defense is really good, and they have just as much offense up front with their top 2 lines, at least, as Canada will. I think Canada's maybe forward depth is a little bit stronger, but those 2 teams put together, a lot of people, I think, would give the Americans the edge simply because of net minding. It's proven. Trey Augustine, it's his 3rd tournament. So that's almost unheard of. So with that sort of experience in net, they're probably the favorites, but I think Canada at home will have something to say about that. I think that New Year's Eve game is going to be really, really entertaining. Might be the best game of the tournament. If they also meet in the gold medal game, that could be a really good one too. But yeah, I do think it's those 2 teams.
Right, and the New Year's Eve game, they always schedule it if possible.
Right,
especially if it's in North America, Canada, and the U.S. So that'll be fun to watch. What about on the other side? Is there someone that you find most threatening in Group B?
I would say Sweden is the best team. I would say they're the odds-on favorite to hit the podium as well. This year they got, lots of drafted players. I think their goaltending is really strong. Not sure who their starter is, if it's going to be Gidloff or Thalen. I think Gidloff is playing in the SHL this year in the top men's league, so he might have a little bit more experience at a higher level. But I think Thelen is might have more experience with the Swedish national team. They might go back and forth and settle on one guy once the medal round starts. Canada might do the same thing as far as that goes. But I do like Sweden's depth, and they should have enough to get out of the B pool as the first place team without a whole lot of trouble.
What was their pool? Didn't they have like a 50-game winning streak in pool play or something insane? It was like a decade?
Yeah, it was long. I don't know if it was 50 games, but it was something like that. It was pretty close where they didn't have a loss during the round robin portion.
During the round robin, yeah, but they didn't win. Russia snapped Sweden's 54-game round robin win streak.
Go.
December. This goes back several years to 20. Oh, it was in Edmonton. It was one of the. I guess that would have been the covert tournament. Anyway,
really, maybe they went on another one because I thought it was. I thought it was more recent
too. December 31st, 2020, Russia snapped Sweden's extended win streak at the World Junior 4-3 overtime victory in Edmonton. Sweden went into Wednesday's game having won 54 straight in group play. So they went from 2006 to 2020 without losing a round robin game and had 1 gold medal in that time.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's pretty disappointing, isn't it? That's probably a mental hurt. They must have had a World Junior Summit or something like that to discuss why the failure of their hockey federation. What's happening?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 2021 now that I look. Anyway, it was a long time. Oilers perspective, Bo Akey, and was there a Fisher on the United States?
Yeah, that's right. Paul, I believe, is his first name. Honestly, I don't know much about Paul Fisher. And Akey, I know he had a lot of injury troubles. I think he'll be a depth guy for Canada, but I wasn't sure if he would actually even make the team. So the fact that he's there, good on him.
All right. So, yeah, it all starts on Boxing Day, Ottawa hosting the Canadian Tire Center and TD Place Arena. Is that the old, or is that the 67s arena?
Must be where the 67s play.
That's the 8,500 capacity. All right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Before I let you go, and thanks for being so generous with your time, I discovered in the last couple of weeks that you are big into science fiction. I think even bigger than I am, because you texted me a couple Star Trek references last week that were even too niche for me.
One joke I thought you would have got.
Oh, the Bajoran, yes.
Yeah.
But I get the sense you're even deeper into, because Star Trek, I have like a surface level knowledge, and I like the references, and I like talking like Patrick Stewart. But Aliens are big for you, the whole series?
Yeah, the Alien movies were great for me. I remember going to see the second. I saw the second movie, the Aliens, before the first one because I was too young to see the first one in the theater. So I saw the second one first, and I thought, this is awesome. And then my buddy and I rented the first one, like on VHS or whatever, when videotape players were gigantic and it pops out the top and you slam it shut. We watched that one. I thought the first one was good. I didn't like it as much as the second one. I thought the first half hour of the first one was really boring until they go on to and get the egg and etc. And he makes an appearance and it goes from there. And then it was great. But I did like the James Cameron one better. I think it's really entertaining. And of course, Terminator 2 was unbelievable. That's probably my favorite science fiction movie. And I think he must have made those pretty much back to back. No.
What did he make in between? I thought he had one movie. Did he do The Abyss in between?
He might have done The Abyss in between or right after T2.
Okay, let's check. We got to look this up on the fly, Guy. You know I like doing this. I like planning interviews, but then I often just go off and do crazy stuff.
Because I remember the special effects in T2 with the Terminator was all like melty and mercury. It looks like mercury. They did that effect in The Abyss. So I think you're right that they're back to back, but I'm not sure which one's first.
Okay, so 84, the first Terminator, 86, Aliens, 89, The Abyss, 91, Terminator 2, 94, True Lies.
That was great. Also, not a science fiction, but
fun
it was really
movie,
that's a fun, entertaining movie for sure.
And 97, Titanic. And then now he's just basically in the Avatar rabbit hole over and over again.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I never saw
Star
this.
Trek was great. I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars, although both of them have duds, under their franchise umbrella.
Yeah.
They don't knock them out of the park every time, but yeah, those are great. And all the superhero movies too. Sure. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad we share that interest. Hey, thanks for hopping on in the middle of a busy time of year. I love having you. The Pipeline Show continues. Do you have a Pipeline Show coming up, or how are you going to handle it over the holidays?
No, I got a couple of weeks off and then back right after the World Juniors.
Okay. Guy, thanks for doing this, man. You're the best.
Reid, thank you. Appreciate it. And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all the nasties.
Right on. That is Guy Flaming from the Pipeline Show, a friend of Edmonton Sports Talk, with a little sci-fi talk, a little coach talk, and getting you primed for the World Junior as well. So if you remember anything from that, we touched on a lot of stuff, but Guy says U.S. and Canada, they are in the same pool. They do play on New Year's Eve. He thinks they're the two favorites. He says keep an eye on Sweden coming out of Group B as well. That's your Cole's notes from talking with Guy. Okay. Well, we got an hour left till we got some time off, Coop. My goodness.
I'm excited.
Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling great,
do you
man.
have to
the New
go
Year's right
Christmas
around
shopping?
the corner. See, I used to do that. The last few years, I was kind of the last minute Christmas shopper, and that's something that my dad tried to, pass on to me hereditarily, I guess you could say. My mom's great at it, so I've taken more to her kind of character with it, and I've gotten it pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah. So did I. I didn't have a lot of people to buy for, which I guess is an advantage. And then, I think I might have said this as a couple cousins. We used to buy for each other, and now we just say, let's just try to go out 2 or 3 times a year, like go for dinner or do something, rather than buying gifts that we may or may not know what to get the other people. So that's worked out pretty well. All right, it's 4:59. We're going to talk Christmas a little more. We have more messages coming in about the Edmonton Oilers as well. It's the Reid Wilkins Show on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers understood.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Connor Clattenburg has signed his entry-level deal with the Oilers after being picked in the 5th round in this year's draft. And five games are getting underway in just a moment, including the Panthers battling the Lightning, Capitals against the Bruins, and the Blues meeting with the Red Wings. In football, the Texans have claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson, with Tank Dell tearing his ACL last night against the Chiefs, while Trent Williams has been ruled out for the 49ers for the last 2 games of the season. Meanwhile, the Packers get set to play the Saints on the lone game tonight. And on the court, the Raptors throw it down with the Knicks on a 14-game NBA slate. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Okay, thanks for tuning in this afternoon. Final hour of the show before Christmas. As we were talking about earlier, no live programming on Edmonton Sports Talk until Saturday at 1, when Tom and Hernan will join you for the Oil Stream pregame show to get you ready for the Oilers and the Kings. But we will have best of programming popping up on the stream before then, between 6 o'clock and then. Why are people talking about Selma Hayek in the oh, I see.
I love how the nasty chat.
I see. It's the true lies discussion led to Jamie Lee Curtis's famous striptease scene in that being discussed. And now I believe there has been some discussion about perhaps scenes that teen boys would have found interesting.
I love the nasty
watching
chat.
films. It is a pretty interesting place.
Yeah.
If you are in there, give the show a thumbs up. Pass it on to other people who have YouTube accounts. Get them involved. Tell them to hammer that thumbs up as well. Spency 5 cents, he says, mail it in Monday, eh? Is it that bad?
Sorry, guys. That's all me.
I never try to mail it in. When you're doing a live show, you got to go. You got to go.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, I've done that maybe on Nate Radio before where I've mailed it in, and you'd even look back, like, just during that. I give it my all here all the time, every day. 110%.
They're just discussing, okay. Scott.
Oh,
no, I'm not upset with anybody, Scotty.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand what was happening at first, but I think I got the gist of it. All right, that's funny. 780-218-9999 is the number to text the EST inbox. Jump into the nasty chat. Email me, read at edmontonsportstalk.com. Got a couple of pretty good limericks, too. I am wearing some I got this new merch. If you're on YouTube, I got a new EST t-shirt. A lot of people have been picking up their merch, which is pretty cool. We got a lot of awesome stuff. So that's awesome.
And there'll be some more stuff into the new year on the EST merchandise site that'll just be on edmontonsportstalk.com. During the new year, we got Oilers hats that look the same color. So
no,
same
they're
blue.
not Oilers hats. They're Edmonton Sports Talk hats that are blue and orange.
Colored hat that are blue and orange.
Yes.
Sorry. Orange and blue Edmonton Sports Talk hats.
That's
there we
better.
go.
That's better.
And there's also very same color combination reminiscent of another sports franchise here as well with the baby blue and the blue. It gives baseball
yes, exactly.
hat kind of vibes. So there we go.
Mex Bezozu says bonus top 3 movie of the year. He says, I haven't seen all, but he says he has The Substance, which I want to see. Honora. I think that's getting some Oscar buzz. And Challengers. Is Challengers not the tennis?
I think so. I'm not a big tennis head, but that sounds like it's right.
2024 romantic sports drama follows the love triangle between an injured tennis star turned coach played by Zendaya. Zendaya.
Yep, you got
She's
that right.
MJ in the new Spider-Mans. Her low-circuit tennis player ex-boyfriend and her tennis champion husband across 13 years of their relationship, culminating in the latter two's match on the ATP Challenger Tour. Interesting. Okay. Supposed to be good. 780-218-9999. Do you have a text or two you want to hit me with before we do the top 3? Might as well, if there's anything of note coming in.
Yeah, there's a couple interesting ones regarding the NHL here. Why is there a place in the NHL for Matt Rempe? Big guy who is totally out of control. He could kill somebody with the way he plays. Shameful that it's in the league. That comes from Anderson. And, of course, Rempe playing 22 games, I think. Yeah, he got an 8-game suspension.
Is it he's been suspended twice and he has 4-game misconducts?
Yeah, in 22 games played.
So that texter saying, why is there a place for this guy in the league? Well, because he's big and he's physical and he's mean. That's why he has a place in the league.
And there's not many
I'm
people
not trying to
who do
be
that,
sarcastic,
right?
but I mean, look, hockey's a physical sport. There is less fighting. They're trying to take out headshots and dangerous hits, but there's still room for players who play on the edge and can be intimidating and maybe can hurt other players. A lot of who do we talk about in Edmonton? We get a lot of comments. Will they miss Evander Kane? Why? Because he's aggressive and he's intimidating and he can hurt other players. Now, I am not trying to justify Rempe's behavior. That was an obvious dirty hit. I mean, like he hits the guy from behind and drives his head into the boards, into the glass. It's disgusting, quite frankly. Even the Reeves hit on Nurse was a dirty hit. He got suspended. No, I would say at least with the Reeves hit on Nurse, it was more of a hockey-type hit. Still illegal. But, I mean, hitting a guy blatantly from behind, I mean,
yeah,
he should get a lengthy suspension. I'm glad they gave him a lengthy suspension. I'm glad they didn't, peter out at 2 games or something like that. But in terms of why is there a place for something, I mean, hockey's still an aggressive physical sport. It can still be dangerous. In no way am I condoning that hit.
No.
But the Matt Rempes of the world who are big and can play at least a little bit, they're gonna find time unless he keeps doing it to the extent that he totally plays his way out of the league or is such a risk of being a liability that just no team will give him a contract.
He definitely has to learn to try and dial it back quite a bit. I mean, Like even and Zach Hyman is never like he's not a dirty player. He threw that elbow. He got the chicken wing up. I believe it was last game after Nick Cousins or somebody, whoever it was there, was kind of giving it to him. But like you look at that Matt Rempe, you see it once that Matt Rempe hit, and if you haven't seen it, it's just
bad.
a sight to see. It's not very good at all, and it's just you got to take that out of the game. So 8 games is definitely well-deserved, and somebody who fights like that, like you don't see somebody really putting their body on the line. That's old school hockey almost in a sense.
Here's the thing. Franchises would sooner say, okay, kid, you got this energy. You got this aggression. We just got to tame it a bit. They would sooner have that than somebody who doesn't have any fire or aggression and try to get it out of them.
Now, do you think it helps that a bunch of the fans, especially in that New York market, are very fond of Rempe, that they put him in there? Is there anything like that to try and juice up the lineup and get somebody?
Well, I think it helps if you have a boisterous player that can get the crowd involved, that can make your teammates feel a little safer or stronger, for sure. But again, so his thing is he can't reach the point where, well, the next suspension is going to be 12, and then it's going to be 20, and then it's going to be half a season. So I guess I would push back a little bit on that not push back, but I would say, well, why is there a place for him? To me, it's obvious why there's a place for him. Because he's big and he'll play over the edge and he has the ability to intimidate and, quite frankly, hurt the other team. But he has to do that legally.
And it's
now he's not going to do the Rangers any good being out of the lineup for 8 games.
No, and like he's not going to score. That's not the point. You put Matt Rempe out on the ice. Like nobody wants to line up against that guy. That's the thing. Nobody wants to be matched up.
I mean, look, guys who might cross the line have value. Let's face it. As much as we want to, and me included, want to say that's a gross hit, we also applaud guys who can be a little bit cheeky. I think when Leon Draisaitl has that in his game, he's a better player. Now, but he doesn't go to that extent. But he'll stick a guy. He'll give you a little extra jab. Rempe's on another level. But this is a sport that, to some degree, glorifies violence, glorifies toughness, glorifies aggression, which I think is fine. That's what we want in our sports. We want a detachment from everyday life where you shouldn't be violent and mean to people. But we also have that line that goes too far. So I think Rempe is going to get more opportunities to prove he can stay on the right side of the line. Because if he is in there doing his thing, that does have value in the National Hockey League.
Yes, I mean, I know I'm not comparing Matt Rempe to these highly skilled players, but there's players like both of the Tkachuk brothers who kind of get their nose in there and do the dirty work. They are highly skilled, and Matt Rempe is not going to be any player of that caliber.
He doesn't have that
Even
talent,
like a Marchand. Like you get those guys who kind of get those players off their game a little bit, it could turn the tide for the rest of the lineup who can put the puck in the back of the net. So there's definitely value in Matt Rempe.
All right, what do you got? Anything else?
Yeah, there's one more text here that I see rolling through the inbox. A good run for the Oilers, but they are 4 or 5 players away from being a cup contender. Don't have a second line, and their defense can't stand up against any club that has beasts up front. The last month will be a high point of the season. That comes from Yams Pajamas. Great name, by the way.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be the highest point of the season. I think the way the team is playing is sustainable, to use a word that I think is getting overused. And I think it's indicative of how we saw the team come around last season with a lot of the same players. Fair comment about the defense. Is it a playoff caliber defense? Is it a Stanley Cup caliber defense? Maybe not. I mean, there's a lot of talk about, Stetcher. I think that if they make a move, that would be the move to get someone with a little more beef on the back end. I've said that the second line, sure, we'll see what it is. Right now, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Kapanen. Could you go deep in the playoffs with that as your second line? Probably not. Fair enough. I also think there's still some things here to iron out with the roster. I know we always talk about the context of, well, how are they going to do? How are they going to do when this happens? I do it too, but there's also the context of they're building their game, right? Like how they're playing, how they just played yesterday is not how they're going to play in game 3 of the second round if they make it. It's not going to be the same roster. Players are going to have learned and matured and hopefully figure some things out by then. But I think those overall general roster concerns might have some merit. But as I said, maybe Victor Arvidsson starts playing great. Maybe, as much as I don't think it's going to happen, maybe Pud Colson starts scoring more often. Maybe Jeff Skinner comes to life a little bit. You just got to let those things play out over the course of the season. I mean, a year ago, it looked like Connor Brown would never score. Now, he didn't wind up filling the role on the team that it was thought he was going to fill, that being a winger for Connor McDavid, but he's wound up filling a role as sort of a third liner and a penalty killer, and he's been playing okay most of this season.
And he sat well in his role, and he has more goals this season than he had the entirety of last season. So that says something about a progression, really, of a player, and really kind of falling back into that third line position. Like, he's doing exactly what you want. I think I got to agree with you there. Like, the only really dull area of the team right now is still on that defensive end, and that's been kind of a broken record sort of saying for the last few seasons, and this offseason in particular with a few of those pieces moving, like, you have to somehow
of the 7
that
defensemen they used in the Stanley Cup final, they lost 3 of them. We know that. Yeah. The replacements were not as good. We'll see how they go. We'll see what happens with Emberson. But yeah, fair comment. I'm just not prepared to sit here on December 23rd when they've gone 11-2 and say, well, that's it. That's the peak. I mean, I think that's, to me, a little premature to say that. Yeah, Connor Brown has 6 goals and 8 assists in 34 games. All of last season, he had 4 goals and 8 assists. He was -8 last year. He is +5 this year. He only had 2 goals in the playoffs, eh? Felt like more.
They were big goals, I think, was the...
Because he got the shorthanded breakaway.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think.
Did he score shorthanded against Dallas as well, or did he set up Janmark? I can't remember.
I got a bad memory with that, but I know that they were both like huge goals in that moment, and definitely helped the team when he needed it. That's for sure. So those 2 goals definitely weighed more than just the 2 on the sheet.
Do you think Trouba, for Mark, do you think Trouba at 50% retained would be a fit on the blue line? Well, he'd fit well on any blue line. I don't know if the Oilers are going to go after that. What does he make anyways? He $8 million?
$8 million, and his entire contract is, on the Ducks roster. Now they have the power, of course, to retain that. So that's a decent thought to think. But
you might have to launder that through another team. So you're only paying a quarter, and then you're giving up more draft picks.
Who was that? That was with Henrique the previous season, right? Because it was a 3-team trade, I believe.
He got laundered.
Was it to Tampa?
Was it Minnesota? Oh, yeah, it might have been Tampa.
It was a 4th-round pick. So it was a 1st and a 4th-round pick for Sam Carrick, and Adam Henrique. And
they were actually separate deals, right?
Oh, they were. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they kind of just swapped. They're like, hey, we'll take 25% off. So I like the power of clubs being able to do that. So, like a Trouba at $2 million or 2 and change or whatever.
Yeah, you'd have to probably get somebody else involved to get it down to $2 million.
But what do you want to come to? Like, he waived a no trade clause to move to the Ducks.
Right, so then is he going to do that again? He's got a 12-team no trade. And I don't think he wants to come to Canada, does he?
Yeah, but if it's the Oilers, though, like, would you just be like, you know what? I'll stick it out for these few months to see if they can go on a run and maybe, get a ring in my collection?
He's under contract next season as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know if they're going to get a big name like that.
No.
Even an Ekholm caliber. They might get more of a, I don't know. Well.
Like it's hard to find names.
Like a couple years ago when Edmonton's name was thrown out there, but he had a bad back at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more of that type of a caliber.
Yeah, that's something that's been circling in my mind. I think like a Joel Edmondson as well. There's not many names, though, to kind of fill that role, and there will be more popping out during the deadline once players or teams decide if they want to sell, like a Barry Trotz or what have you. And especially, Kreider being scratched, so there might be room there in New York for a couple pieces to shift. Like, they did trade their captain, obviously, and Jacko as well. So,
all right. 780-218-9999 if you want to text the EST inbox, jump into the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Continue to give us a thumbs up. We'll see if we can get to 100. We're just shy of 80 right now, so let's get as high as we can. All right, we'll get to our top three. We're going to talk about Die Hard as well. We both watched it over the weekend. It's the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne.
The Oilers have signed 2024 fifth-rounder Connor Clattenburg to a 3-year entry-level contract after he recorded 18 points in 22 games this season with the OHL Firebirds. And right now, there's 5 games underway in the NHL, just one of them with a goal. It's 1-1 Flyers, Penguins, and we also see the Caps battle the Bruins and the Lightning take on the Panthers. All of those games midway through the first. And in football, Deontay Johnson has been claimed by the Texans, with Tank Dell tearing his ACL, while the Saints get ready to battle the Packers. And 4 games are ongoing in the NBA. We see the Celtics up 13-6 over the Magic, and the Rockets up 5 against the Hornets, while the Spurs trail by 3 against the 76ers. All 3 of those games are midway through the first quarter. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
From our Sentinel Storage family to yours, wishing you and those you love a wonderful holiday season. A new year filled with an abundance of great health, much laughter, successes that make you smile and delight, and to be surrounded by people and places that make you the happiest.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the Association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Thanks for tuning in this afternoon. Zachary Kubusch is here. Jay Milne is off. I'm Reid Wilkins. Who are you? Okay. Appreciate you tuning in. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It might be tough to hit 100 today. Obviously, audiences change when we get into a holiday season. Let's at least get well over 80. We're at 79. So flick the thumb. Tell your buddies to do it as well. You can email reid@edmontonsportstalk.com. Oilers 11-2 in their last 13 games. Really good. Outscoring opponents 53-28 during that run. So only giving up 2.15 goals against per game. In that stretch, PK 85.2%, power play 29.4%. Looking very, very good. It is time for my top 3 presented by Food Sausage, the best sausages you will ever eat, locally made, packed full of flavor. Order online, visit them in store, 6736 99th Street. Take advantage of their EST discount. 10% off your order by entering online code EST or mention Edmonton Sports Talk in store. Free delivery in Edmonton on orders over $100. As Food Sausage says, you can't beat our meat. So I asked you as an off-topic topic for your favorite Christmas gift of all time. We got some really cool submissions. We had World Junior tickets. We had hockey equipment. We had a couple video games come in. I'm going to give you my top 3 favorite Christmas gifts of all time. Now, I am a spoiled only child. I've also had some very generous friends over the years as well. I've gotten some cool Christmas gifts. So I'm kind of thinking about memorable ones or long-lasting ones or emotional ones. So my first one, and I'm not sure how old I was when I got this. I want to say probably 9, maybe 8 or 9. And this is, Koob, you can put it up if on YouTube. So it's a tape deck. It's a radio cassette player. Not a full-on ghetto blaster. It just had one speaker. It wasn't huge. The picture that's up is not exactly what it was. Mine was all silver. But I use this thing constantly. So it allowed me now to have cassette tapes and play music. So my first favorite band was Duran Duran. The first tape I remember that came out that I wanted to go get the day it came out was Reckless by Bryan Adams. So this was also one of those machines, and some of you might get a little misty-eyed when I say this. Koob, this might be foreign to you, but I would listen to 630 Ched, which at that time played pop and rock music, was like a top 40 station in the early up until when they changed to talk in the mid-90s. So, you're listening to the radio, you have a tape on there queued up, and when a song you wanted came on, you quickly rushed to the machine and hit play and record. So you got a recording of that song without having to go out and buy the tape. Does that make any sense to you at all, what I'm saying, Coop?
Yeah, I've heard.
You've heard about old people like ways. Me having done this.
My parents were big into that.
That was early pirating music.
Yeah, that was a best thing.
Yeah.
Well, so even my uncle was telling me just on the weekend that he would do that with records. So it'd be a little bit different. He would record his own record, but I guess you had to have it physically, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so this was the cassette player / radio, and it also had a built-in microphone. So I would record, this will not surprise anybody, I would record my own little sketches and fake talk shows and stories and do different voices and then play them for my parents. I'm sure they were highly entertained by whatever little adventure I came up or whatever rip-off of a TV show or movie I was doing or voicing on my own. And I used this thing. I don't know where it is now. I assume it died at some point, but I used it for several years, and I used it a lot. Like, again, listening to tapes, listening to the radio, recording stuff, being weird. That was a great gift.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first really, would you say that was the first sign where you're like, I'm really passionate about this. Like you kind of just had that naturally where you're like, I want to do these kind of talk shows.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't doing that thinking, I'm going to work in broadcasting someday, but I guess it just was an outlet for creativity and then also enjoying music that I enjoyed.
Wow, behind the scenes,
enjoying music
Reid
that I
Wilkins
enjoyed as opposed to enjoying music that I hated.
Hey, maybe that could be a Nasty Club thing if you ever find those old skits and stuff you did.
Those would be destroyed. They're probably highly inappropriate and immature. Well, I was like 9 or 10. I didn't even know what I was doing.
No, that's
I just
fair.
made stories up and did weird stuff.
Yeah, you're young Hans Gruber, or what? That wouldn't even be.
No, when I got the machine, Die Hard would not have been released. We got the machine a few years before Die Hard. All right, so that's my number one for food sausage most memorable Christmas gift. Snars Attack says I used to listen to John Short. I used to listen to John Short as well. John Short, of course, passed away fairly recently. I got to interview him a few times. He did color commentary for me for some games at the Allen Cup in Stony Plain in 2007 when I was doing play-by-play on Lloydminster Radio for the Border Kings. They won the tournament, by the way. The next one I'm going to bring up, I got for Christmas in 2019. And it's a game because I love board and card games. It's Marvel Champions. There's probably 2 people out there thinking, oh, yeah, that's a great game. This is a great game because I'm still playing it because they still put out new content for it. This wasn't a game in which, here's Marvel Champions and enjoy it. No, they put out new heroes and villains all the time, several times a year. And it's a game in which you can play as a hero, but you can build the deck to customize your playing style. So if I want to play as Spider-Man, he has cards you have to use, but then the rest of his deck, you can put in your own cards. So this is the game that keeps on giving. I've played it as recently as earlier this month. My mom got me this. I think I asked for it. I think I put it on the Christmas list because Mom's always like, "What do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas?" And I was like, "I don't know, Mom. Give me this. It looks fun." And I still get stuff for it. So if anybody plays Marvel Champions, please let me know because I usually play by myself, quite in my own little solitude. All right.
Now you've told me about this game, and I think it's really a fascinating game. And I'm not a big like Marvel or even, like board game kind of card game person, but I do love those kind of card games and where you have the freedom to really do what you want with it, and you could kind of shape it into your own kind of way and do that. I think that's beautiful, and especially I mean, you're like right on the cover, it has Spider-Man in the middle, and
he's in the base game.
He is in the base game.
He's one of the heroes.
So I know we dove into this one episode, but like you get a base pack, sort of, right? And then you kind of get like the additions of the new movies that come out, or like how does that work? Because they still make content.
No,
for the
they're
game.
not. They're not based on the movies.
Okay. So are the characters from the movies?
No, the characters are from the comic books. Now, certain characters have gotten more popular because of the movies.
Right.
But the artwork is comic book art.
Oh, that's really cool. So it's almost like each card you get, it's like, I would compare it to like a Pokemon card or something. It would be the comic variation of it. How does that?
Well, you're playing. Okay, so if I'm playing as Spider-Man, I get 15 Spider-Man cards. You can make your deck between 40 or 50 cards. The rest of the deck I custom build.
Oh.
But they're all cards that give you allies or supports or upgrades or actions or events.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yes, it's very cool.
I love that.
Cocolin says, "Oh, that's so cute. Little Reid doing talk shows." I would have been doing talk shows in my old recorder at the time. All right. Next picture is an emotional one. This is a mug I got a few years ago. And this was a custom-made mug I got from my parents. And I love using this mug. And this is my now late dog. She passed away about 6 years ago. This is Chupka. And it's a picture. It's just a simple coffee mug. And she was a wonderful dog for 14 years. And she's on a mug. And so sometimes when I have coffee, I get to see. I'm getting emotional talking about it. Chupka, Chupka, Ukrainian for little sweetheart. We also called her Chewy. But this would be one of the best Christmas gifts I ever got. She may have still been with us when I got the mug. I can't remember. But it's a nice mug to have and a little keepsake for her. And it's nice that it's something I can do while I'm having breakfast or whatever, because she was probably the greediest dog when it came to food that we've ever had. Like, she would eat nonstop. Like, sometimes we'll be having something for dinner, and we'll say to each other, would Chupka eat all of this? Like, just some big, mash of food that you would think a dog wouldn't eat. And we'll say, would she eat it? And the answer is usually yes.
Now, and of course, like, was she a breakfast person or more of a...
Oh, she was any time of day. Coop.
Any time of day?
If there was food, it was getting eaten.
Anytime, any place.
Yeah, like that. She would... So there's another dog in the family, Rocket, who we have. He's 18 and a half. But, like, if he had to eat his food fast, because she would just go eat his food too. Like, she just would wolf hers down and then try to push him out of the way and get his. So, yeah, like, she was incredibly greedy.
Wow.
And she would eat anything.
Well,
like, she had no boundaries at all.
Jeez. That was kind of like my cat, who would always, like, wake me up to try and feed him breakfast. His name was Halo. And, like, just anytime there was food, it was like, I'm there. Like it was kind of like a cat dog almost, in a sense, because like that cat always wanted to be around.
Dogs in general like food and are pretty greedy, but like Chupka was next level. Like, no, so my mom said once she was straining carrots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a boiling hot carrot somehow escaped onto the floor. Without thinking about it, Chupka swallowed it whole and then immediately regurgitated it. But like, she didn't even stop to like smell it, check the temperature. It was just like, that's edible. It's going in my belly.
At least you hope it's edible.
At least you hope it's edible. And I think over the years, she probably did have some things that she probably shouldn't have.
Now, May I ask, what was the weirdest thing that Chupka wanted to eat, just tried to or was able to?
Well, just anything. Like, I would take her to the 104th Street Market downtown, and she would just have her nose down. Like, she would just be gathering. Like, oh, popcorn crumbs. Oh, something, this, that. Like, just vacuumed it up. Like,
I love that.
I can't think of anything she wouldn't eat.
Easy way to clean plates. You don't need a dishwasher.
Well, we didn't let the dog lick the plates, but yeah, like she was an amazing dog, very loving and very, very kind, but just incredibly greedy and apparently hungry all the time or incapable of feeling full.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got a mug with Chupka on it. It's pretty awesome. Thanks everybody for indulging that story. People love their pets.
Oh yeah, pets are fantastic. I mean, Jasmine was talking about her dog a little bit on the hangout earlier, and like. They're like your best friend. Like the cliche is a dog is a man's best friend, and that's definitely true. Like it could be like that with cats as well. There's a different bond from cats to humans to dogs and humans. I feel like, I mean, dogs are a little bit more loyal. I've only had cats, but my cats have loved me, and it's just like, man, the certain personalities they have, like Chupka eating everything, wanting to eat everything.
Yeah, she would eat anything.
My cat would walk me to school.
Really?
Like there's certain characteristics.
And how would it get home?
Well, so I lived down the alley was from my house was the elementary school I went to, like in Duggan here in the city. And I would just like walk down there and my cat I'd look behind me. It was meowing. It would follow me all the way there. And then I'd finish school and right across the street from the school is the entrance to the back alley. And Halo would just be sitting there and then walk back with me quite a few times. Not every single day, but
that's
like
amazing.
Some days. Yeah, it was fantastic.
How far was the walk again?
Probably no more than like, I'd say 500 meters. Like, it wasn't a huge stretch.
But the cat made sure you were safe and being escorted.
Yeah. And I got lost in a garage down there one time. Got too nosy and stuck through a little hole and me and my mom would walk to school every day and we're like, man, where's Halo? We haven't seen him in a couple days. And that was kind of normal with him because he's more of an outdoor cat. So it was like, oh, okay, he'd be gone for maybe a day. He'd come back with a mouse or something and be like, oh, okay, he was on the hunt.
Just
he was gallivanting. So we keep walking. We're like, what? Man, I wonder where Halo is. And we hear a faint meow, like meow, meow. We're like, he's in that house, is he? Halo. And then he'd respond. And we eventually got him. Had to get the fireman to get the ladder out. Like he wasn't stuck in the tree. He was stuck in the dang garage because my mom went around the front side of the house. It was kind of hard to tell because it was the back side, like in the alley.
Yeah.
So she had to like count the house 1, 2, 3, 4, walk around the other way and be like, knock on the door. Weird question. Is there a cat in your garage? But they were on vacation. So the fireman had to get involved. It was really, really odd. But yeah, Halo lived a valiant life.
And as Josh says, I had a lab growing up who liked to eat face cloths. Yeah, it is weird what dogs will consume or try to consume. Has anybody on Instagram seen that video? It appears that it's a dog, like a larger, medium-sized type dog, that is pooping Skittles. Has anybody seen that? Like,
I probably have seen that.
That pops up on my Instagram feed because I look at pet stuff, so then it shows you pet stuff or dog stuff. The dog appears to be at the vet, and it's pooping Skittles. Like they're just coming out, bouncing off the floor. Like,
follow the rainbow.
Yeah, follow the rainbow. There's one rainbow that maybe doesn't have a pot of gold at the end.
I didn't know brown was in the rainbow.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, thanks for listening to our pet stories and my top 3 for food sausage best Christmas gifts I have ever received. 780-218-9999 if you'd like to share yours in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Keep encouraging others to hit that thumbs up. We actually might make it to 100. Let's try to get there in the last 20 minutes of the show. We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown, personal injury law firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Josh says he has seen the Skittle pooping dog, the poople dog. He says he thought it might be fake. It could be. Unfortunately, stuff like that probably could easily be faked, so I may be a sucker that fell for it. We will get to our game of the night, and we will get, Damon Bunting, buying or selling about Die Hard when we get back.
The Oilers have signed 2024 fifth-round pick Connor Clattenburg to an entry-level deal. Well, right now, there's 5 games underway in the NHL. 2-0 Lightning over the Panthers. 1-0 the Canadiens trail against the Blue Jackets. It's scoreless between the Caps and the Bruins, and the Blues are up 1-0 over the Red Wings. Well, it's 3-1 Penguins against the Flyers, with all of those games in the first. And in football, the Elks have signed 9 players for the upcoming season, including 7 Americans and 2 national players, while the Texans have claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson after it was confirmed that Tank Dell suffered an ACL tear in last night's game. Plus, Monday Night Football action sees the Saints kicking off against the Packers. And there's 3 games underway in the NBA. The Celtics lead 32-21 over the Magic. It's a 16-point deficit for the Hornets in their game against the Rockets, while the Spurs are up by 1, 20-19 against the 76ers. Both of those games entering the second quarter. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brewhouse is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the Association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
The countdown is on to the legendary Boxing Week sale at FXR Factory Outlet Superstore. Don't miss the best deals of the season on fan favorite gear. Huge savings on FXR lifestyle apparel and outerwear, along with FXR Adrenaline Unlimited merch. Miss this event, and you miss out huge on the best deals for the entire family. More great incentives in store, so mark your calendars, gather the crew, and head to FXR December 26th through 31st. 324 Mayfield Common in Edmonton.
Talk now, Coop?
No, I want to let the music drag on. It's a really good track. I don't know if you've heard this one before.
Is this AC/DC?
I think it's Duran Duran.
Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. NFL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse with Thursday Night Football. Your chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice. $1 off tankers of Bud Light and Budweiser. Details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. My mom should take note of that. Seahawks at Bears. The Seahawks, not good. Not good. Well, I mean, they're okay. They can't beat the good teams. They lost to the Vikings yesterday. Can't give up a long bomb to the best player with 3.5 minutes left.
Well, it seems like they always get stunk out. Like, just barely. Like, there's points
Yeah, like
in the
season. Not
terrible,
but they can't get over the hump, especially against good teams.
Exactly. You're like, wow,
they
this
might
team
they
looks
might
good.
beat the Bears, and then I think they'd still be mathematically alive. Oof. But then they'd have to beat the Rams in the last week of the season. I'm telling you, watch out for the Rams. I'm telling you, watch out for the Rams.
I'll keep that.
I think they're dangerous. I know the Lions are very good. The Central has those good teams. Jay's Commanders are dangerous. Watch out for the LA Rams. I'll just say that. Little Wilkie intuition for you.
Sprinkle it in there.
Little Wilkie intuition. Okay?
Okay.
It's time for buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or the Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. So on Friday, I went and saw Die Hard at the Metro Cinema at the Garneau. It was a great night out. My friend and I went to the Sugar Bowl for dinner and a pint beforehand, walked across the street, went to the Garneau for Die Hard. Obviously, I'd seen the movie before. In that setting, it was pretty cool. We sat on the upper part, kind of the balcony part of the Garneau. It was very full, like probably 3/4 full, but for the Garneau, that's probably about 400 people. I don't know. There were a lot of people. I was probably one of the older people there, though not the oldest. But really cool. Good audience reaction. Clearly people had seen the movie before. Like they cheered when Bruce Willis was still on the screen or first appeared on the screen. Booed when Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber came on. I enjoyed seeing Rickman's performance as Hans Gruber. I'm an exceptional thief, Mrs. McLean. And perhaps you should show me more respect since I've now also upgraded to kidnapping.
That was a good line. I love that, and I watched it for the first time myself.
So you watched Die Hard for the first time on the weekend. So what did you know about it beforehand, except that I did a very poor impression of Hans Gruber?
Well, I'd say spot on impression.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Give or take for some people, and it's one of those movies. Like I would compare it to Star Wars, not fully in that sense where it's very mainstream. It is a well-known movie. But it felt like a movie that I already knew before coming in to watch it for the first time. So I kind of knew the gist of the plot. Bruce Willis gets trapped in this tower and kidnapped in some sense, or they're under lock, and he has to kill people with machine guns. That's awesome. Amazing. Amazing plot for a movie, and especially like an action movie like that. And then I knew that Hans Gruber was some German guy, and that's about all I knew of the movie. It felt like enough. And I knew the scene where he was crawling like through the vents with the Zippo lighter that everyone has on their Christmas tree for some reason. Cool ornament, but I felt like I knew the movie heading into it, and I was excited.
So did you
to
enjoy
watch
it? So short answer or short question, simple question. Did you think it's a good movie?
I thought it was an amazing movie. Actually, my mom wasn't like I watched it with my mom, and she was like, "I'm not a big Bruce Willis fan."
I think it's an action movie classic. I mean, it's clearly not a Christmas movie, and I'm sick of arguing with people about it. It's set at Christmas.
Well, you don't have to argue with me.
But even if you argue it's a Christmas movie, I struggle to see how you could, if you had to put it in one genre only. It's clearly action. First of all, it's fun. It's got good banter, good dialogue. And it's got memorable characters. I mean, you have McLean and Gruber. You have the mouthy, cocaine-snorting co-worker of the wife. You have the FBI agents, Johnson and Johnson. You have the incompetent police chief or whoever he was. You have the slimy news reporter. Who you have the lovable cop who's helping him, Mr. Winslow from Family Matters. You have the oblivious yet good-hearted limousine driver, and they're all introduced throughout the movie, and it's so well paced, and it's such good writing in terms of there's always a problem, there's always something to care about, right? Well, he's in the elevator shaft, then he's confronts Gruber. Now they're doing this with the hostages. Now they're over here. Now he finds the explosives. Now his feet are all cut up because he hopped over the glass, and it's got the classic put these people in a confined space and have them go at each other. And then it has that whole personal thing of how the first person he kills is the brother of the other guy. And then that guy has that personal vendetta. And I still think a memorable performance by Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. And then even that thing with her Rolex, right? And then when she's when Gruber is dangling off her wrist at the end of the movie, they undo the Rolex, and that's how he falls to his death.
That was such a great...
has great moments in it.
Yeah, I love that part of it because like it was they were celebrating it being like, oh, it's Christmas, but we also made a huge deal. And then it was like, well, we're going to give I forget her name in the movie, the wife's name to John McClane.
Holly Gennaro. Sorry, McClane.
Yeah, right. Holly Gennaro hyphen McLean or whatever you want to say. She got that Rolex as a kind of present
bonus or
for
whatever
her
from
bonus.
the boss. Yes.
So it kind of all ties back in that sense. And I felt like I wasn't on edge during that movie, but I'm like, what's next? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, it's
it builds.
Yes, it has still suspense in it. Like what's going to happen next? What problem is going to pop up next? Really good. Was glad I went and saw it. It was a great night out with one of my best friends as well. So that was really cool. And
Doubles down.
What's going on with the Panthers and the Lightning, by the way?
Let's check here because I think they're entering the second period of the game, the Battle of Florida.
Kucherov just hit Tkachuk up high. Got a 5-minute major in a game misconduct.
We got to have it on the ESTV.
Oh, well, I can't control it if I'm too far away.
Well, it is 3-0 Lightning right now, nearing the end of the first period, under 3 minutes to go. But a 5-minute major handed out.
Just double check that if you can.
Okay.
If in the box score.
Let's see how we do that here. But
Kucherov got a 5-minute major in a game misconduct for kneeing on Matthew Tkachuk. Yeah, this is all just happening in the last few minutes.
Oh, that's
so
a bad
Tkachuk
luck.
was reaching for a puck, and Kucherov came across. Yeah, that is knee on knee for sure. And Tkachuk went down, sort of briefly clutched at his right knee, and then I'm not sure what happened after that.
Now, it's like knee-on-knee collisions are the worst kind of look for anybody on the ice because sometimes, it could be a little bit, I wouldn't say deliberate, but you're throwing your
down
arms
the
out.
tunnel after. So we'll keep an eye on that today.
Right.
That's a storyline. I mean, if the Panthers were to lose Tkachuk for any length of time,
they're
very
two
important player.
Arguably the two best players on each side.
Well,
for Florida,
Kucherov's
right?
thrown out of the game. But they might look at that. The league might look at that as well. That could be they probably wouldn't give him very long. Could be a couple game suspension. He really stuck his knee out, and if Tkachuk is hurt as a result, usually that they factor that into the length of the suspension. So we're both buying on Die Hard as an action classic for Damon Bunting.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I'm buying that heavily. I would put all my money into that kind of stock because the only reason that you could argue that it might be a Christmas movie, they say Merry Christmas, and then the guy in the elevator gets popped up from John McClane to show that he killed his first guy. Now I have the machine gun now, ho, 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 or whatever the saying was.
It's set at Christmas, and there are Christmas references, but as I've always argued, you don't need Christmas for that movie. You could set it at a summer Christmas party or a New Year's Eve party or whatever.
Right.
But it's an action classic.
And the only way...
Alexander Goodenough, he was a dancer. He's in that movie.
Seriously. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I think he was like a ballet dancer or something.
Wow. What a talent. Actor and a dancer.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
thanks for all the people wishing us Merry Christmas in the nasty chat. We do appreciate it. I've said this before, and I'll probably keep saying it. The relationship in the community with our listeners, with the Nasties, is pretty special here.
It's unmatched.
I've never experienced anything like it, which is nice.
Yeah, and the community within the Nasty chat, if you're on audio most of the time, to kind of peep in there and check out the YouTube chat. It's a different.
I want to get to 90 thumbs up. We need 3 more to at least get to 90.
Wow.
I mean, it's a lighter day for listenership. I've been through this. We know what it's like at Christmas. Let's at least get to 90.
My only Christmas switch.
Let's just make Zach's life worthwhile, everybody.
Please.
All right, it's time for our game of the night for Play More Tables and Games. From ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for. Visit Canada's Game Room experts, locations in Edmonton and Calgary, or online at playmoregames.ca. Game of the night, I'll do a couple here. I'm going to say San Jose at Vancouver. Askarof's going to be in net again, so I want to see how he does. I think they were saying first back-to-back starts in his career, even though there's a day in between. For the Sharks and the Canucks, of course, Vancouver. So they'll make up their game in hand on the Oilers. They're currently 5 points behind Edmonton, and we know the kind of the drama in Vancouver with what may or not be happening between Peterson and Miller. So I'll put that as a game of the night. One of my games of the night. I'm also going to identify Anaheim at Vegas as a game of the night because, now the Oilers are trying to track down Vegas for first in the Pacific. Vegas 3 points ahead of Edmonton with a game in hand. So that game in hand will be played tonight. Vegas 8-2 in their last 10. They're a good team. We'll see if Anaheim can score the upset and keep the Oilers within 3 points of the Golden Knights. So those will be my games of the night. San Jose at Vancouver, Anaheim at Vegas.
And that one's a late one. The Ducks Golden Knights
late?
game, 8 p.m. And then the 7 o'clock start for the Sharks and the Canucks. So if I'm
7 Mountain or
7 Mountain,
Pacific?
7 local time here in Edmonton. So 7 Mountain Standard Time.
So that's a 6 o'clock game in Vancouver then. They're starting a little earlier?
Yeah. Well, it seems
Maybe
like
because of the holidays. Charlie says, even Winnipeg people love you guys. Great show. Charlie, thanks for that.
We love the
the
Winnipeggers.
Winnipeg sports talkers who check in are pretty cool as well. We got up to 94. Oh, man, I wish we could make 100.
Should I do the claps? No, we got to save it for 100.
Yeah, we're not.
Still got time.
We're not quite done the show.
Yeah, we still got time.
We still got time. So warm our hearts. Still get us to 100 on a lighter listenership day without Jay here. We missed Jay today, but he's taking a day off. Now you participated a lot, Koob, which was great.
I was so happy to be here and be able to
it's a good opportunity.
have that.
I mean, someday you're going to be a talk show host, so you might as well start learning.
I'd hope so.
Talking and rambling on and
keeping things
saying
going,
weird stuff,
staying on track,
talking about sports
sometimes.
At times and other things in life. That was nice. You told the story about Halo the cat.
Well, yeah, I love that
people get
guy,
to know
right?
you a little bit.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this format because, in traditional radio, it's a little bit more jam-packed and you have to be quick. You have to hit the marks, hit the spots. But with this, you have technically an hour 3 hours in this show, but in the segmented periods, like you have 20 minutes to really talk however you want to bring the story and introduce the context of it. And you don't have to just bang, 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 bang. You can just have conversations. And
yeah. Well, the different thing
so
for
much
me
different.
here is, we still take breaks. We still run commercials, but the news breaks. I know we do sports updates, but if they start 2 minutes later or I need to throw to one early, it's not like, the news is at 8, right? So you have to be out at 7:57 and there's 3 minutes of commercials. So the news starts exactly at 8. That format's a little different for me. Other than that, go do my thing.
Yeah, there's
the video
more
thing
on-air
is
time.
different, but I used to work in TV. And the thing is, if you're not, you don't have to speak. I'm doing it now, but you don't have to speak directly to the camera.
Right.
Because people
And it's good
realize
too.
it's an audio show for the most part.
Yeah.
Though we do have a lot of visual aids or little things we'll put up that can help. We'll augment it, but if you're not watching it, that's also fine too.
Yeah, it's the new wave for sure. And people could, if they were viewing on YouTube right now, for those listeners, they would see my great Christmas Oilers hat.
You got the Oilers hat. We
With the
might have
pom-pom.
stalled out here at 94 thumbs. We might have exhausted the thumbs.
I could always like the video myself. Haha.
You don't like your own shows?
Now, it's like
I
voting
do.
for yourself.
I give all our shows a thumbs up when I watch them. Why not?
Well,
I
we had
support my colleagues.
Yeah, that I mean to most times, but I don't go out of my way to do it. So most times, like one time Jay called me out for it. He's like, "Did you like the show?" I'm like, "Man, I don't think I did." So I went back and liked it. So I got to do
Yeah,
that
you
every day.
should. Why not?
That's my New Year's resolution to like the
To
show
be
every
more
day.
liking to
Yeah.
other people.
More likable and gracious.
More likable
Gratitude
to others. Yes,
yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
More likable.
All right, well, we got to 96, so we may, we'll see if it creeps over 100 as we go.
Pavel Bure.
Hey, everybody. So here's the thing. Live programming on Edmonton Sports Talk will resume at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon with the Oil Stream pregame show leading into the game Oilers at Kings at 2 o'clock. There will be stuff on the stream between now and then. We're going to have best of programming. Matt was describing that earlier, so if you want to hear some of the best stuff we've had on Edmonton Sports Talk in recent weeks, you can get it there. On behalf of Zachary Kubusch and Jason Milne, who is off today, my name's Reid. Have a Merry Christmas. This show is live again 1 week from today on Monday the 30th. Take care.
Get to know the winners. Props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.